We're good? Okay, I think we're good now. I think we're good. I figured out the problem. 5 minutes early plus 5 minutes late equals 0 minutes stalled. You know what, bro? The math actually mathed. Alright, I think we're good now. Whoa, that's weird. When I clap, do you see that? Or is it just me? What if I just turn this light on? Okay, that was weird. Alright. I realized what my problem was. Because on OBS, since Twitch was my primary stream majiggy thing, whatever it's logged in, I had YouTube set. I had a multi-stream plugin installed, and I had YouTube set to auto start. But because I'm primarily logged into YouTube, I think the YouTube plugin also auto started, so it said I was like broadcasting twice from the same stream key or whatever. But I think it's good. I think it's all worked out. And I switched to this, to YouTube, because I realized, I guess the reason, I know I'm only outputting at 1080p, but I think the reason the camera quality looks so bad is because on Twitch it's set to 6,000. What's the streamer vocabulary here? It's set to like 6,000 bits or whatever. And on YouTube, you can set it... Oh, kilobytes. Bitrate. My bad. Your Twitch bitrate is only 6,000. On YouTube, you can set it to like 1350. Oh, no, 13,500. So it's like twice as better. Or 100% better. Well, my math isn't mathing. Point is, I think the camera should look a little bit better. Yeah, that one. Yeah, the bitrate. The KBP. Yeah. So I think it looks good now. And also, hold up. Yo, guys, we got some beef here. I took a screenshot. I read a comment. The homie Kenny said, you were right about the goddess family. The demoness family is the one they mentioned that originates from the true goddess. That primordial demoness is from the family, as they said, one step further than those angel families. I was right this whole time. Kenny backed me up. Yeah, I was right about the goddess family. The goddess family was a family above the angel family, which was the three I mentioned. And then you had the demoness family, which was also mentioned. So those were two separate families. We had some beef, but now we're good. And we should be good. And I realized my camera in the background is like a little blurry right here. Fuck, man. But I think we're good. I think we are good and A-okay. Now we can start with stream. Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, man. Wiz he's scaring me a little, man. He's like right on our tail, man. You know that one? I don't know what's the right meme. Did you see the news about Olotim Season 2 is already in particular? Somebody mentioned that. We never disagreed with that the demons family is like that, but the other three were devil families. Ah, no, Romero. It said they were true goddess families. I'm pretty sure it was mentioned in chapter 440. No. Or it was mentioned during the mural depictions. I don't know. We'll look it up then later. We never disagreed with that. The demoness family is like that. I remember the three demoness families. Yeah, the three demoness families. That was mentioned during volume 2. When they were fighting the demon apostle. Okay. But the other three were devil families? Really? Okay. Wait, let me get the chapter ready. So we turned on our camera up here. So we should hopefully look a little bit better. And now that our bitrate it's set to 13,500, video quality should overall look better. Now, how will that translate to our file sizes when we're recording? That I don't know. And hold up, before we continue, now I can turn on chat through OBS. Three devil families. Okay, hold. Let me try and open up chat. Edit file. Oh, view. Where's chat? Where's the chat? Where's the chat widget? Wasn't there a chat widget? Hold up. Tools. Oh, it's a dock. Lock docs, full height docs, reset docs, scene, source, audio, stats. No, I don't need stats. We don't need stats. You just close a dockable window. If you like to show it again, use the dock menus on the menu bar. Hold up, sorry. Chat. Okay, now I'm gonna have this chat open. Ah, guys, check it out. I fucking finally figured out OBS a little bit better. Ah, so now I don't need my stream open up here. Now I can just have stream open on OBS, and that frees up half of my screen. Okay, sorry guys, I'm learning things right here now. Okay, I usually always had the YouTube thing open and so I can see chat, but now I can just have everything set on here. Oh shit. Okay, that frees up so much more space. All right. Sorry guys. Not technical difficulties. I was just learning new things for OBS. Okay, now we're good. Now we're good. Now we can start. Okay, now we're good though. I have this, I have that. And then let's do this. I have chat. Beautiful. Now I'm gonna open up our notes and we are fucking ready. Oh yeah. Oh my god, I'm so happy. Look at that. One. Where's the thing? Oh my god, I'm getting pissed off now. Oh, chat. Where's the fucking chat widget? Fuck, man. Sorry. Alright, now we're good. Now we're good. Now we're good. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're ready. Woo! We're learning new things. Alright. Wow, look at my fucking bitrate. My bitrate is in, like, perfect, healthy condition. At least through, through here. Okay, I'm gonna keep my front light off. I'm gonna keep that off. So now we're just gonna have the one up here on top turned on. But I think we're good. I think we're good. I think we're good. No, I should probably have it backwards. Alright, hold up. I just finished eating. Let me leave this outside. Now we're gonna start. All right, perfect. Now here's the thing. You actually look high quality? Yeah, super crisp? Really? Yo, that's sick. Okay, now the only problem is I'm not streaming on Twitch right now because I didn't set up the auto start plugin. So that right now, there's no stream on Twitch. That's for sure. So it looks better? Damn. Damn. Shit, it actually looks a little better. All right. All right, I'll take it. All right. Oh, fuck yeah, we'll take it. So we look a little better. Look, we learned a little something new today. Beautiful. Now, here's the thing. I probably also don't need the half of my screen set to this. Holy shit, yeah. All right. Sorry, I know this is taking me a while, but now I'm trying to, like, do my new setup on my two monitors. Now I have more space freed up. Holy shit, my man is looking good. We fucking did it. Wow, hold up. I'm actually low-key kind of impressed with myself now. So hold up. Now that I freed up space, because we now have YouTube primarily on OBS, our notes can be a little bit smaller here. We can have chat set to this portion of the screen. And now the chapter is roughly like 2/3 of my bottom monitor. Ooh, now we can read more. Oh my god. All right, perfect. Holy shit, we fucking did it. All right. Oh, I'm so happy. Look at that. I was actually able to figure this shit out. So it looks a little bit crisper. Crisp. I can't even fucking read. All right, let's just get started. We stalled long enough. Back this up. Get the playlist ready. We're gonna start from the top. I'm gonna lower the volume on my end. You guys should be able to hear good. Should be good. Well, now it's easier for me to adjust my volume now. All right, let's fucking start, man. All right. So now this looks a little bit crisper. But today we'll be reading Lord of the Mysteries, chapter 558 of volume 3, Traveler. I almost forgot what it was called for a second. Are you guys ready? We are now at chapter 558, and it's called Search for the Abnormalities. If you guys like our new crisp bitrate setup, let me know. Or if it looks noticeable, let me know. It looks noticeable on my end, but Romero and D are backing me up and say it looks good. So let's start. You know who it is. You know what we're here to read. More Lord of Mysteries. We gotta lock in because Wiz is on our tail, and we cannot let him hit chapter 600 before us. So hopefully this video is longer than 2 hours, right? It should hopefully be longer than 2 hours. Oh no, I saw lag. Oh no, I saw a little lag. We're good? Okay. What, it's so good it makes me want to like and subscribe? What? It's so good. Bullseye, what do you mean? You haven't been liking or subscribing? How dare you? It looks I'm hoping it looks better. Alright, let's get our timestamp. Let's get ready. Alright. Beautiful. Holy shit. I'm actually low-key kind of proud. And then hold up, before we start, we have the react thing set up. Hold up, let me show you. Hold up. Before we start. So I think this is what I'm gonna do now. Like every time I'm done streaming, like if I and I want to watch like an episode of anime while the video's uploading, I'm not gonna end stream. I'm gonna see if we can, like, you know, min-max our time and see if we can watch another video, right? So for example, once this is full screen, I'll be able to do this. So once we end our recordings and whatnot, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna switch to this bad boy. We're gonna switch to this bad boy. And look, now I can kind of chill and watch anime with you guys for a little bit, right? While the video's uploading. And you know what? I think that's safe. We'll look at other YouTuber reacts, but I think that's safe. I think that's gonna be good. I think that's gonna work. All right, let's start. All right. So if you guys haven't liked, comment, or subscribe, hopefully the bitrate convinced you guys to join. Damn, how's the scab is okay. It's good enough. It's good enough. All right. Chapter 558 is called Search for Abnormalities. Klein didn't answer with yes or no. Instead, he stopped walking towards his bedroom and flatly said, "That was a question. Right, a question. That was a slanderous question with no basis. Besides, I also gave a negative answer." The Nitz responded with delight, and he also empathized that he had never admitted it. Klein gently nodded his head. Oh, yeah, right. Like, are you going to tell anybody? Or was it? He's like, yes or no. Klein gently nodded his head. I will clarify this with... I will clarify this with your captain. Clarify. The Nitz stared, and then he half opened his mouth, his expression twisted. He was also considered a somewhat knowledgeable person, so he stopped explaining and arguing as he forced a smile. Is there anything I can do for you? Klein took a deep breath and used his clown powers to control his facial expression, monitor it well. Yes, alright. The Nitz quickly agreed. Seeing Grim and Sparrow turn around and walk to the bedroom entrance, he couldn't help but ask, "You're not going to clarify this with your captain, right?" Klein twisted the handle and replied expressionally, "Monitor it well." The Nitz got lucky he wasn't hit with lightning. Ooh, that would have been pretty... That actually would have been a lot funnier. After he finished speaking, he pushed open the door and entered the room. Before he could widen his mouth into a laugh, he closed the door behind him. The next morning after breakfast, Klein put on a pair of pantaloons, a thick brown jacket, and a cap. He changed his appearance and went out, leaving the Nitz alone in a room to watch the radio transceiver. You should be careful. Along the way, Klein changed his appearance again. Oh, wait, no, hold up. He put the transceiver back above the gray fog. No, hold up. He has to put it above the gray fog in order for roads to detect it. Got it. The next morning after breakfast, Klein put on a pair of pantaloons, a thick brown jacket, and a cap. He changed his appearance and went out, leaving the Nitz alone in a room with a radio transceiver. Along the way, Klein changed his appearance again, making himself look more like a native. He found a special store, bought a pair of linen gloves, a shroud, and a body bag. Then, according to the surroundings he had previously listened, he then scanned the area around him for landmarks before finding the bridge and the girl who had died amid the mud in the corner. Oh, damn, we're picking up with this. As it was still winter, the weather wasn't too hot, and there was no obvious signs of decay from the corpse, but the festering skin and the stench still made Klein instinctively nauseous. He didn't immediately come to bury the girl who wanted to live like a human being last night due to her recent events. Bayam was under strict curfews at night, as well as the fact the cemetery didn't open until dawn. Pulling out a small metal bottle, Klein poured some cooling oil onto his hand and rubbed it at the tip of his nose. A choking sensation invaded his mind. The smell of peppermint mixed with a disinfectant filled the olfactory senses, making him sober as if he had just fallen into a sea of floating ice. He was no longer affected by any other smells. Putting away the metal bottle, Klein put on the gloves, took a few steps forward, and crouched next to the female corpse. He unwrapped the shroud and began to gently move the corpse into the body bag. Carrying the bag over his shoulder, he deliberately walked through the through the most bustling streets of Bayam until he reached the outskirts of the city. Along the narrow road where the horse carriages couldn't pass, he scaled a mountain to its mountainside. There was a cemetery specially prepared for the Church of Storms and the governor's general offices for the natives. As for the foreigners, such as businessmen, adventurers, people from Lowen, Intis, and Faina Potter who had settled down here, they had their cemetery situated on the opposite side of Bayam on a flat and soothing plain with a forest backing them. Klein climbed higher and higher and entering the unnamed cemetery. What was I going to read? Unnamed cemetery when he found the gravekeeper dozing off. How do you want to bury him? The gravekeeper pointed at the body bag. If you want to do it for free, you have to wait a few days until the corpses in the morgue accumulate to a certain amount. Then they'll be cremated together and buried in the same grave. Of course, there will be priests who will do a send-off for the souls of the dead in advance. 5 solely, and he will have an urn and a niche he can call his own. £2, he'll get an urn and a grave with a tombstone. Oh, for her. Yeah, your old factories. Yeah, that's right. Got it. Thank you, username. If you don't want him cremated, you'll need a coffin. You can pick one over there. They'll be priced differently based on the type of wood. Klein thought for a moment, then he took out 5 solely in notes and handed it over to them. What's his name? The gravekeeper counted the notes, picked up a fountain pen, and asked with a good attitude. He didn't actually know how to write words. He just wanted to draw the symbols to help him remember. Klein paused for a second and said, Bordy. The gravekeeper repeated in a low voice and then drew a symbol. Without looking, so he doesn't even know. He just draws a symbol based on the name. Without looking up, he continued, she can have an epitaph of the niche. Bordy was a typical female named in Rorschach Archipelago, therefore the gravekeeper no longer mistook her gender. Oh, that's what he was saying. Klein remained silent for a few seconds, then he said in a low voice, she is a human being. She is a human being. What a strange epitaph. The gravekeeper muttered, do you have a picture? I know you don't. Before he could finish his words, he saw the other party hand over a photo. It was a portrait that Klein had drawn using a ritual. It perfectly reproduced the girl's looks before she fell ill. I'm getting sad again. In order to not be suspected, he used a corresponding type of paper and some techniques to make the portrait look like a real photograph. The gravekeeper was surprised but didn't say anything. He quickly took the information and carried the body back to the hut where the priests resided with Klein. After the send-off and cremation, as well as the storming of ashes into an urn, photograph was pasted on, an epitaph was engraved. Put an end to the entire matter, Klein took a deep look before turning around to leave the cemetery. As he walked down the mountain path, he saw Bayam in its entirety. The sea was pale blue, nearing the color of green. It was empty as far as the eyes could see. Sails were stacked by the harbor and the chimneys towering high. The streets were crisscrossed as people came and went. The surrounding estates were densely packed, and there was plenty of greenery. The distant public roads were wide, and the railways were straight. It was like a beautiful oil painting that was produced by a master. It was filled with vitality that was hardly describable. At the top of the clock tower in the Cathedral of Ways, the Church of Storms, cardinals, high-ranking decans, and mandated punishers, John Cutman stood at the edge, looking out over the refreshing sea and the mountain range that stretched out along the coastline. The population in Bayam was rather low, as the mining and smelting industries were located in other cities on the island. The mainstay here was the spice trade, the brothels and casinos, and the accumulation of transits of goods. It lacked a fully formed industry, and there were limited numbers of days needed for coal to be burned for heat. As soon as Sea King John Cutman retracted his gaze, he saw a mandated puncher running up the spiral staircase. Your Eminence, there's new information. The mandated puncher struck to the left of his chest with his right hand. What is it? The well-built John Cutman turned around and asked. The mandated puncher handed over a piece of paper in his hand. News from within the resistance. They've received a response from Calvatua. They're in the process of creating a new status. New status. John Cutman unfolded the notes and skimmed through it. He then held his head to the interior of the Blue Mountain Island, which was covered in a sea of in a sea of dense forest. After a moment of thought, he said, search for abnormalities in the archipelago sea area. He was certain one of the things from the intelligence, the mysterious person who had taken away the characteristics left by Calvatua, had left the waters of the Rorschach Archipelago. This could be determined from the fact that the person could distinguish himself as Calvatua and reply to his followers. That's pretty smart. Meanwhile, John Cutman knew very well that the beyonder characteristics left behind by Calvatua, who had gone mad before its death, will lead to a severe side effect regardless of whether or not it was reduced to a real item. Therefore, it would definitely result in an abnormality in the surrounding areas. Moreover, he believed that it wouldn't be easy for the mysterious person to find a proper sealing method. You don't need to seal it. Even if he had found it, there was no way he could control the effect. Oh, my bad. There was no way he can control the effects when responded, hence exposing the problem. This was the clue. Yes, Your Eminence, may the storms be with you. The mandated punisher bowed again. After entering Bayham City, Klein dispelled his faceless powers when no one was paying attention. He returned to the Window Dessert Inn via carriage. As soon as he opened the door and entered, he saw Denitz sitting in front of the radio transceiver, his expression strange and grave. Got something? Klein asked in a low voice. No. Denitz raised his right palm and shook the papers in his hand. My bounty has been raised to 5,500 pounds. Oh shit, dude. There's gonna be bounty hunters coming after them now, right? Okay, now the fan art makes sense, where like German Spurs just drinking wine and then there's like pirates and bounty hunters coming at him. It's literally because of Denitz's fault. Because his bounty went up. This was almost reaching Steel Mavetti. No fucking way. It's almost a Steel Mavetti's bounty. His was 6,000, right? This was almost reaching Steel Mavetti's bounty. Because of this, he didn't dare head out to drink or relax. All he could do was stay in the room and listen out for a signal. This rate appreciation is really tempting. For a moment, Klein didn't know how to react. So he said without expression, this is just the beginning. Mr. 10,000 pounds. This is only the beginning, my good friend. Dog shit, the Nitz cursed inwardly, but he didn't dare to show any disrespect on his face. All of those things were done by Sparrow. Why did it end up increasing my bounty? Literally, Buggy the Clown. My man is leveling up, and it wasn't even because of him. Those sons of bitches from the Church of Storms, he forced a smile and shook his head, his facial muscles twitching slightly. Klein held back his laughter and ignored him. He went back to his bedroom to catch up on his sleep. At this moment, he saw the letter suddenly appear, floating down from mid-air and landing right in front of him. Klein raised his right hand and grabbed the letter. The messenger didn't even show its face and just left after throwing the letter. Klein clicked his tongue, opened the letter, and read it. There were two methods for obtaining a messenger. The first method is to think of an accurate description, to hold a ritual, summon a corresponding spirit, the spirit world creature, and make a contrast with it. The second method is to directly enter the spirit world and search for a messenger that you wish to obtain. Dude, thank you for subscribing. Hello, good guy. Hello, good guys. Hello, good people. Welcome to this beautiful day of Lord of Mysteries. The messenger didn't even show its face and just left after throwing the letter. Klein clicked his tongue and opened the letter and read it. Did you guys notice our upgrade? Our bit rate's a little better now, huh? You guys notice it's like less blurry now? Like the background is like less pixelated. It's pretty cool, huh? There were two methods for obtaining a messenger. The first method is to think of an accurate description, hold a ritual, summon the corresponding spirit world creature. What will Klein's messenger be, dude? Summon the corresponding spirit world creature and make a contract with it. Would it be the individual holding the four heads, or like would it be something else, man? After obtaining its consent, sign a contract. Whoa, I skipped a line. The first method is to think of an accurate description, hold a ritual, summon the corresponding spirit world creatures, and make a contract with it. The second method is to directly enter the spirit world and search for a messenger that you wish to obtain. Or it was like the floating eyes, maybe. After obtaining its consent, sign a contract with it, and then record down the accurate description language for later use. The first method is relatively simple, but it's also rather dangerous because what fits the description might be a powerful spirit world creature or a strange evil spirit. Every time you summon it, you cannot be completely sure what you will attract, and this is a risk that is hard to divine in advance. The danger of the second method is that it's easy to find the appropriate messenger, and there's a risk of getting lost in the spirit world, unless you're a traveler. Otherwise, I do not suggest the second method. For the first method, I can provide you a description that has to be tested and verified. As long as the process is done accurately, the level of danger will be rather low, but it might not satisfy you. Also, the contract needs to use powers in the undead domain. You can use my copper whistle to write for that. Hello, evening. Hello, guys. The format includes the following paragraphs. Of course, if you don't mind, I can transfer a message to you as a gift and have it sign a contract with you. Transfer it to me as a gift. It's no wonder the messenger didn't even dare show its face. Klein thought in enlightenment. Consider that he had used the previous messenger as a shield and was unfortunately finished off by Mr. A, causing the later messengers to become increasingly rude to him. Is that not what we were saying? Like, that's probably why, like, this messenger is so mad at him. Consider that he had used a previous messenger as a shield and was unfortunately finished off by Mr. A, causing the later messengers to become increasingly rude to him. He inwardly declined the offer. Use the first or second method. The first method is prone to error. I might even summon a candidate messenger and get beaten up. A commonly used description isn't unique enough, making the messenger strength worrying. The second method, I'm not afraid of getting lost since I'll be able to instantly return above the Grey Fog. Furthermore, in my spirit body state, I can use the Sea God Scepter. I'm sorry, he'll be able to use it in the spirit world. The spirit world creatures aren't afraid of having their blood drained either. Yes, I have to do it outside the archipelago. Otherwise, I'll be affected by the prayers. Klein quickly came to a decision. All right, next chapter. Meeting on the way. Oh, the messenger or like a Terror Club meeting? All right, hold up. Timestamp. Timestamp. We're going straight into next chapter. Hold up, straight into next chapter, because we are a little scared. You know, Wiz is on our tail, and we gotta keep the heads up. We gotta keep the pace. We gotta keep the pace. And hopefully, over this weekend, we knock out like 6 to 8 hours each day. And if me and the missus don't do anything on Friday night, well, shit, you guys better buckle up. Hey, man, I was wondering when is the next SS? Dude, I don't know, man. Look, I was thinking about it as I'm doing my timestamp. Don't worry, guys, we're not stalling. It's like, if I split both evenly and do like half SS, half LOTM, it'll take twice as long to finish it. If I can, I don't know. No. Like, I know, because I know people want SSS. Like, I know, like, one thing I might do, I might read, like, the what if chapters of, like, ReZero, just because I've always wanted to read it. And it's only, like, one chapter. You're supposed to do it at the end of every stream. I know. I was supposed to at least do one chapter at the end of every stream. That was a good plan, I thought. Yeah, I know. I think that is going to be a good plan. Because, like, the chapters are only, like, 10 minutes. If I can do one a day, we can probably, like, pump out, hopefully, 5 to 7. But here, timestamp, we're ready, and let's do the next chapter. So hopefully we can do one right now at the end. If not, when we hit chapter 600 or finish volume 3, I'll be able to better plan out my stuff. Yeah. And also I do want to, you know, IRL, without getting too personal, if I can find like a different career path or different career position and whatnot, i.e. etc., and get better hours and like whatnot, hopefully I can have a better schedule set up where we can still work, gym, socialize, and stream and have it all work perfectly in like unison, you know? Remember when he was going to read SSS on the week vacation after volume 2? Paul, don't mention that. I don't remember that promise. Yeah, I remember. All right, but next chapter. 559. Don't worry. All right, if you hold up, we might just read one today. Stay tuned and find out. All right, hold up, maybe. Chapter 559 is called Meeting on the Way. With the idea in mind, Klein immediately began making preparations. It was to explore the spirit world and select a suitable target to become a messenger. After he left the Roasted Archipelago and its surrounding sea, he could bring the Sea God Scepter along with him to reason with the target and convince him to become his messenger. Once I find myself lost or in a dangerous situation, I would immediately halt the summoning and return above the Great Fog. There's basically no risk. Klein thought for seconds, then he locked the door and began the ritual, summoning himself. At the end of the ritual, he quickly arrived above the Great Fog, but he was in no hurry to respond to himself. Instead, he sat down and let the Sea God Scepter fly out from the junk pile and land on the palm. He intended to scan the prayers of the believers as per routine for anything in response. During this process, Klein discovered that some of the prayers were actually quite interesting, because humans could deceive friends and relatives, but it was difficult to keep their truest thoughts when confessing or praying to the god. At most, they would modify the truth to make them look less bad. A mixed blood who had clearly changed his face to the Lord of Storms has already reached the middle ranks of the Bayern Police Department. But in his confession, he tried hard to portray his behavior as a plan of burden himself and carry out a mission for the sake of a brighter future for his kinsmen. He could only confess to the god in misery and hope that he would protect him so that he could climb up the ranks in the police system and believers of the Lord of Storms. Although his words sounded flawless, the fluctuations in his thoughts and emotions during the confession were clearly displayed in the prayer scene. It was something that couldn't be hidden. Trying to deceive God while you're deceiving yourself. If it were a gigantic sea serpent like Kalvatua who lacked intelligence, it might have believed you. Should I give him a lightning bolt or 10 wind blades? Yes, it's pretty impressive to have a mixed blood rise up to the ranks of senior inspector. I'll keep him. There are benefits to having a snitch. There are benefits to having a snitch. Klein raised his sea god staff, making one of the blue gems glow. The light poured into the scene and I can't read this word, imperceptibly seeped into the senior inspectors named Bolaya. This wasn't a curse, nor was it an AQ. It was a mark of divinity that almost no one could discover. Simply put, it's an unilateral way for me to keep tabs on you. Klein silently added inwardly. He continued browsing and saw a young believer with slightly curly bronze hair praying for a man named Zangmo to be caught in a storm in Bird at Sea. He claimed that Zangmo wasn't pious enough, but the truth was, as a competing fisherman, Zangmo was able. I hope I'm reading that right. Zangmo was always able to harvest more fish than he did. What kind of nonsense prayers are these? The human heart sure is hard to fathom. Klein frowned and mumbled to himself. Then he had a vague idea. What's the vague idea? No fucking shot that was unilateral. I've always said unilateral, but I don't think I've spelled unilateral in a cool minute. Thank you, username. Thank you as always, guys. For a faceless to engage in real acting, it not only requires a flawless performance in terms of external appearances and habitual actions, but also needs to maintain the core personality. Not many changes are allowed. As for personality, every person is difficult, so there must be a difference to a certain degree. By browsing the prayers of my believers, it's equivalent to me realize different kinds of personalities and mental states without going through the trouble. When talking about the many masks we wear, it's not only about looks. This will be rather important for my subsequent acting as a faceless. It can save me time from figuring things out and accumulating experiences. Klein increasingly felt the acting as a sea god was very beneficial towards him. When you are acting the role of a demigod, even if you don't get any feedback, you will still definitely get some considerable benefits. This is a way of gaining experiences of being someone of a higher level. Klein perked up, no longer being perfunctory about skimming through the prayer scenes. After quickly browsing through one scene after another, his gaze stopped at a merchant named Ralph. Sounds like a good guy. The businessman praised the miracle of the reappearance of the sea god, and he had indicated that he planned to offer a third of his fortune, worth 20,000 pounds, to the resistance. Half was military expenses, and half of the reconstruction of the god statue. Isn't that nice of him? Yeah, acting as a sea god. Actually, there's no need to go through all the trouble. Just directly offer it to me. Klein muttered, half joking, like, just give it to me, bro. I was like, I got you. He thought for a moment, then he conjured a background of waves and storms with heavy rain and lightning falling together. He responded in a low voice, "You have honored my name by helping your compartments and compatriots and companions. The young lambs need help, food, and education." He intended to get Ralph to set up a charity fund with 20,000 pounds and to seek the donations widely from the community, and to make up for the damage, create a consensus and help to provide local children with food, clothing, and education under the pretext of governance. Look at Klein, man. Look at him putting that sea scepter to good use. Look at him putting him acting as a sea god to good use, man. Look at that. Funding was undoubtedly needed. I skipped a line. As for the military expenses of the resistance, Klein understood that that in a world with beyond our powers, it was very difficult to write solely on the opposition from the natives of the colony and success. Therefore, they needed help of foreign countries like Fasik and Intis. Funding was undoubtedly needed. Unfortunately, it's not possible to add a line in the Ten Commandments about boldly and confidently seek funding that would damage the image of the sea god. The resistance shouldn't be thinking about annihilating the garrison troops. They should just focus on destroying the transportation infrastructure and make it more difficult for the Governor General's office to rule, so as to initiate talks. As a keyboard warrior, Klein was lacking ideas in such areas. He quickly restrained his wandering thoughts and made a divination to see if it was dangerous exploring the spirit world today. After attaining the revelation that it wasn't considered dangerous, Klein took the Black Emperor card naturally, changed his image, and stepped into the door summoning. After entering the real world, he stuffed the mystical items he needed into the body of a precaution. Then, like last time, he used cognition to sense the spirit world. Taking a step forward, he passed through an invisible curtain as Klein's illusionary figure floated up. Around him, red, yellow, blue, green, and other colors were superimposed, just like how they were most abstract oil paintings. Oh, like when Azik pulled him in at the end of Volume 2. The concept of directing that the humans were used to I'm reading wrong. The concept of direction that humans were used to could no longer be used here. If no one used the old means of distinguishing directions in one's location, they would definitely find themselves lost. Klein roamed carefully and casually, sometimes seeing a yellow sun like a child's sketch, sometimes brushing past an incorporeal river that flowed quietly. There was also a flat woman with her upper body naked and the face resembling a smiling moon. Oh, that's so trippy. A canoe with its end upturned, a tangled ball of threads, a serpentine staircase leading to the seven pier lights. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Is this messengers gonna be one of the 7 pier lights? Like, what the fuck? I was trying to figure out, did his Like, as I was taking my notes for volume 2, I was like, who do we know that could, like, potentially be, like, a human reincarnation of a pure light? Yeah, the spirit world is so good, dude. This is so hype. As for those symbols, there was a chance that they would come to life and become incorporeal. I skipped the sentence. In the extremely chaotic world, other than the spirit world creatures, all kinds of information existed as abstract symbols. Yeah, no, I was muted for a sec. Thus, what one received from a divination process would only be a revelation that requires one to interpret it on its own. As for the symbols, there was a chance that they would come to life and become incorporeal monsters. Okay, yeah. Literally, Zoro's sense of direction is the same in the spirit world. Sounds about right. This was a spirit world that couldn't be understood and viewed with common human knowledge. The last time he came in, he easily discovered the spirit world creatures, and he had noticed the creepy gazes from unknown locations that made his hair stand on end. There was the headless woman who carried 4 heads. Watch that be the messenger. A round eye with clear blacks and whites. Maybe that will be our messenger. And a giant jellyfish with a skull attached to each tentacle. I'm feeling the one with the tentacles. Hold up. I'm feeling it's this one. The giant jellyfish with a skull attached to each tentacles. He had easily encountered all of them back then. But this time he failed to see a single spirit world creature despite roaming for so long. Even the indescribable figures in the distance had appeared as if they had hidden themselves. It can't be that you're afraid of being my messenger, can it? What? It can't be that you're afraid of being my messenger, can it? Yes, I entered the spirit world in the form of a soul body. Perhaps the thoughts in the mind will appear in a special formless manner here, turning into concealment symbols that interact with the spirit world. This then naturally affects my path options. Klein was puzzled, but he couldn't find the reason. All sorts of thoughts flashed through his mind when his body suddenly sank down as he fell freely. After a while, Klein could only see the vivid superposition of the colors of the various symbols that took physical form. What's going on? He began to consider whether he should write to Mr. Zick and ask him about it, or to throw the radio transceivers above the gray fog and get it tainted with the aura so he could contact the magic mirror roads. While floating, Klein's heart suddenly palpitated and he quickly dodged to the side. A tinge of yellow and green flashed across his eyes as a giant foot that was large enough to squash his entire body landed, stepping into the interlaced red and blue color spots. Above the sole of the foot was a long, festering leg covered in a yellowish-green liquid. The leg was over 3 meters long, and above it was a huge body that was wrapped in corpse oil bandages. Ew. Amidst the solidified aura in the area, the 2 legs that were filled with yellow-green pus alternated as they rose up. I've seen some of you guys in other LOTM reactions. I'm like, oh wait a sec, I know you guys. Carrying up a body that was difficult to discern, the legs quickly disappeared into the depths of the spirit world. Klein stood at the distance, not daring to make a sound. Finally, he confirmed that he was fine as he grimaced and thought, the spirit world is really scary. No way. You can accidentally encounter a powerhouse just by passing by. This sounds like a Xenoblade game. You're like level 2 and you run into like a level 80 like giant gorilla. A powerhouse among the spirit world creatures. Klein shook his head and continued his search. At that moment, he had no idea where in the spirit world he had wandered to. After drifting for a while, he finally found some traces of the spirit world creatures. Alright. Just as he was about to switch from flying forward to descend to his left, he was surprised to find his body continued to move forward uncontrollably at accelerating speed. In front of him, the chaotic, superimposed colors of the grayish-white mist that filled the air suddenly split open, and a large, purely black three-masted sailboat leaped in. The boat was nearly 100 meters long, and 3 pitch-black sails were hanging high up like flags. On the left and right sides of the ship, there was the cannon muzzles, and all kinds of sailors were running around the deck. All of this was so real, so substantial, and so out of place when it came to the spirit world as a whole. However, as the ships entered the spirit world, its black color quickly turned richer, tainting itself with an ethereal vibe. Ain't no way. On its deck stood a modeled stone chair. Okay, a modeled chair. That sounds familiar. A modeled stone chair with 2 to 3 meters high. That sounds very familiar. Its back facing the cabin, leaning against the chair's back, a colossal figure that was comparable to an ancient giant sat there. I'm sorry, is this giant King Armir or like what's going on here? He had a black beard. Oh, is it Blackbeard? He had a black beard that went just past his neck, and he wore a tall pointed crown on his head. I'm sorry, is this the Black Emperor? He wore a gorgeous black robe with silver fringings. The wrinkles on his face looked... No. The wrinkles on his face looked hardened and filled with magnificence, it made one subconsciously wish to bow their heads. Under the slightly wrinkled forehead and the one high nose bridge, Klein pitch black body, full body armor, and black crown were reflected into those dark red eyes. As for Klein, he was having trouble stopping his slow flight towards the giant. Their gazes met among the layers of colors and symbols in the spirit world, and then Klein's like, I'm out. And then Klein disappeared. The giant of the mottled stone chair didn't withdrew his gaze as he continued straight over in long silence. Yo, dude, what the heck was that, dude? Wait, like, for a second I thought that was Giant King Armir. I was like, is it Blackbeard? Like, I'm sorry, is it like, you know how we're talking about Davy Jones last stream? Is it like Davy Jones? Who is it? Or like, is it the Black Emperor? That was pretty cool. All right, we'll probably get maybe more on that soon, eventually, one day. All right, but let's go. Next chapter. Maybe we'll get more. Learning from the best? What are we learning? What are we learning? What are we learning today? We are learning today that we must keep up the pace. That is what we are learning. We must keep up the pace and hit 600 before Wiz. All right. Copy, paste. Good night. I have to go to sleep now. No, take care, Iris. We'll see you soon. We'll see you soon, buddy. Yeah, though I don't have hope it will probably make a new identity like Klein. It's Luffy. Hype. Damn, hope it works out. I've seen an appeal, so hopefully. Really, I remember seeing a post comments of your voice this. You look like a true person no well since it's temporary. Oh, I don't know what happened. Oh wow. Okay. Alright, next chapter. Do we update up there? Alright, beautiful. Chapter 560 is called Above. No. It's called The Hanged Man Gets Fleeced. Did I read that right? Above the fog, Klein took out the Black Emperor card that he had fused with his spirit body and instantly reverted to his original form. This is called a one-click gear swap. He mocked himself as he recalled what had just happened. He was almost certain that the giant wearing a sharp crown was a king of the 5-sea nest, Solomon. What? What the fuck? He was almost certain that the giant wearing the sharp crown was king of the 5 seas nest, Solomon. The 100. What was he doing in the spirit world? The 100-meter long sailboat that could sail through the spirit world was a ghost ship named Black Emperor. It was a relic of the Solomon Empire, right? He's chilling. Ship named Black Emperor, which was built by the ancient Solomon Empire. Yeah, it was a relic of the Solomon Empire, and like he took it. Dude, what the fuck? I've always thought that a ghost ship simply means that it can sail on its own and wouldn't sink, making it closer to a strange creature. I never thought that the most powerful ghost ship would be able to turn itself incorporeal and wander through the spirit world. What? So it's technically a mystical item. You know what's funny? I literally put the Dark Emperor ship under mystical item because like it has to be a mystical item. Like if it's coming from the Solomon Empire, and here we are, it can literally just wander through the spirit world. What the fuck, dude? That makes it almost a it's definitely a demigod. That makes it almost a demigod, right? As expected of the most famous Black Emperor on the 5 seas, yes, I can eliminate the possibility that it sacrificed a traveler during its creation process. Holy shit, Wiz was right. The Nas would eventually try and become the Black Emperor. Holy shit, man. He literally pieced that together. Yeah. Yeah, look at that. Yes, I can't eliminate the possibility that it sacrificed a traveler during its creation process. For one of the most famous legendary treasures, the Spectre Empire, which carries the final inheritance of the Turneset Empire, could it be that the ship also comes equipped with the capability making it impossible to find? Klein's thoughts slowly drifted without immediately realizing the reason why he had suddenly met the king of the 5 seas nest. Maybe he's going to be a tier club member. This was very obvious. The law of beyond characteristics convergence. Oh, because he's wearing the Dark Emperor card. Nast and him, like IE, etc. They are drawn to each other. Got it. Although the Black Emperor card didn't contain any beyond characteristics, Rizal had added or carved something onto the card where he made it. It allowed the wielder to use the card of blasphemy after the events will high sequence to subtly sense the beyond ingredients they needed. He did say that. There was no doubt that such a sensational was mutual. As one sensed the others, the other would naturally sense them too. As for the wielder, they would appear to approach a certain fate before they cross the step into becoming a demigod. This was something Klein was deeply aware. He ultimately suspected that the existence of the gray fog had brought together certain beyonders or supernatural events to him. Traveling with the Black Emperor card in the spirit world makes it easier for such situations to occur. This is because the real world needs to abide by many rules. Even the fate from drawing lots needs to abide by logic. Developing bit by bit, it doesn't make sense for me to use the Black Emperor card in Backland, and for the King of the Five Seas Nas to immediately appear in front of me with a ghost ship. Even if he sends the attraction force, he would have to go through the process of locating me. And through the process of traveling through the spirit world, take hours or even days to arrive. If he didn't sense it, he would only naturally think of sailing towards the Sonia Sea and head closer to the borders of the Lone Kingdom. In that case, it might take months before we bump into each other. Sounds like a sounds like a volume 3 finale, right? I was about to say lost my place, but I found my place. By being in the spirit world, things are simple. There's no concept of distance or direction, and their locations and distances are all extremely chaotic. Perhaps the King of the Five Sea Nas might have wished to go out and spin in the spirit world, but he ended up seeing me pass by the moment he entered. This doesn't need to abide by the restrictions or limitations of the geographical locations, Klein thought as he wrapped the corners of the model table. In addition to this, he was certain that the reason why he was thrown uncontrollably towards the Black Emperor at the King of the Five Seas Nest wasn't because of the law of convergence. Really? It wasn't because of the law of convergence of the beyond characteristics. The effects of the law was only reflected in fate, perception, and desire, nothing too exaggerated. Otherwise, they wouldn't be high sequence beyonders. All of them would be involuntarily drawn by the uniqueness of their respective pathway. Okay. Klein could sense that it was a type of beyond power that twisted and strained his intent to move forward, resulting in him being unable to stop. This is a very simple analysis. Even if I had thrown out the Black Emperor card at time, I wouldn't have been able to stop. This is a lawyer, which is a beyond power wielded by the Black Emperor pathway. Klein leaned back in his chair and decided to not use the Black Emperor card at any time soon. This, really? He's gonna retire it for a while? This meant that he was unable to roam the spirit world in search of messengers? Shit. Fuck. If he hadn't brought the Black Emperor card and had used his main body with the Sea God Scepter, he would appear in the spirit world, which was filled with all kinds of revelations and information. But then it'd be scarier for him to leave. He would inevitably leave many clues and could be divined about at any time. And in terms of anti-divination and anti-prophecy, a Zig's copper whistle couldn't be compared to the Black Emperor card. Yeah, like that's a whole nother tier in and of itself, right? If I were to really do that, I might meet 10 people who know that I obtained the Sea God Scepter when buying a beer at the bar. Of course, it wasn't taken by Klein already, so what has that got to do with me and German Sparrow? Klein shook his head in a self-deprecating manner and decided to use the ritual method to get a messenger to respond. He could find something more suitable later on. After he covered the Black Emperor card, he figured disappearing from the mysterious space above the gray fog. Look at that. Early morning Bayam, Alger prepared to take carriage of the city and take a detour to a private harbor behind the cliff. This was where his Blue Avenger was docked and waiting to set sail. As a disguised pirate captain, he could dock so openly at the main port of the City of Generosity that would be sufficient proof that he had close ties with the authorities. It was the same with the other pirates who had considered their birth in advance before coming to Bayam to sell their loot or gain enjoyment. They either went to a small port in the surrounding waters or to a private port controlled by someone with a deep background or by the resistance. Finally, there are no more missions. I can go out at sea again. I need to first obtain a mystical item that can increase my strength and also square my accounts. After that, I'll head to the primitive island and hunt the blue Shadow Falcon, allowing me to advance to Sequence X as quickly as possible. Oliver was about to walk towards a rental carriage when he unexpectedly saw a familiar figure. The former pirate merchant Ralph. We literally talked about Ralph like a chapter or two ago, right? I think at the beginning of the stream in 558. The former pirate merchant Ralph walked out of the carriage with a ruddy face and looked towards the Governor General's office that wasn't far away. He seemed to be abnormally excited. What happened to him? After a moment of puzzlement, Oliver took the initiative to go over and greet him. From his point of view, Ralph was in a sense as also one of his comrades. They were also subordinates of Mr. Fool. Oh, because he's a sea god believer. Got it. They were fucking Olger, dude. They were all subordinates of Mr. Fool. Look at that. However, as one of his core members, while the others were just remains of the periphery, Olger calmly confirmed the identities and position. What happened to deserve such joy? Oliver asked after chatting about the weather. Ralph laughed out loud and narrowed his eyes. If I were to say that I received the blessings of God, would you believe me? I believe, Oliver answered in his manner without hesitation. Suppressing his curiosity, he asked, what are you doing here? Ralph was about to answer when his eyes suddenly lit up. Core members? It's so funny. He's like, like you ain't part of the crew like me, dude. He looked around, and after confirming that there was no one around him, he said in a deep voice, didn't you say that you also believe in God? In order to befriend him, Alger had lied, saying that his faith lay with sea god Calvatua. In any case, this was common among pirates, so it wouldn't arouse suspicion. At sea, the weather was usually more frightening than the enemy, so in most parts, adventurous ships, crews, and sailors also had great respect for gods who controlled similar fields, believing in them to a certain extent. Of course, this time Alger answered with firmer than Eric, because he believes in the Fool, technically. This was also because he knew that the sea god that the other party believed in was the embodiment of Mr. Fool. Oliver's smart, man. He pieced his shit together so quickly. Ralph nodded in satisfaction, revealed a smile, and whispered, I received a revelation yesterday. God sent me to his young lambs. I intend to establish a charitable fund for his purpose. This was the will of God. As his believer, I believe that you will be happy to provide some assistance. He held out his right hand and waited for the donation. Fucking give me money, bitch. Stable internet? Yeah, I think it's doing pretty good so far. Hello, what's up? Dr. Z, what's up? Long time no see. He held out his right hand and waited for the donation. Alger's expression stiffened and he was momentarily unsure of how to respond. Although his present fortune was worth 3,245 pounds, he was prepared to buy a mystical item, making his overall financial situation somewhat tight. Of course, he could still donate quite a bit if he skimmed and saved. If the sea god was still Calvatua, Alger was claimed to be a believer that would have hesitated to find an excuse, but now he had seriously considered the deeper motives of Mr. Fool. Hello, hello. Noticing Alger's reaction, Ralph's eyes darted skimming before him. We want to help children who are suffering from unnecessary discrimination because of their bloodline. They live a hard life, and it is hard to see any hope for them. They are all pure-blooded natives as well as mixed bloods. Alger was silent for a few seconds, then he pulled out a wad of cash. Here's 100 pounds. Ralph took it and said with a smile, your kindness will definitely be rewarded. God will protect you. The door was slanted over and the entrance of the warehouse. Klein prepared to summon the ritual for the spirit world creature and was surrounded by the hallucinatory scent of herbal and essential oils. He was afraid that there would be some kind of accident if he held it in the end, and although it might not be risky for him, it might end up harming the other occupants. Therefore, he went back to the abandoned warehouse where he had given a sacrifice to Calvatua. As for Denitz having his bounty raised to 5,500 pounds, he was very proactive in asking to stay in the suit and monitor the radio transceiver. All your backstory and character development. I know, we're getting more, dude. Yeah, I know, we are getting more. The procedure is to light the candle that symbolizes me and to use a verified incantation to summon the appropriate spirit world creature and as a messenger. Dally Simon's thread-line description of the various incantations provided by Mr. Zick went through Klein's mind. When summoning a spirit world creature, the first sentence needed a description such as wanderers about the unfounded and the roaming in the upper realm. Only by doing so could it accurately point to the spirit world. The suffix would clearly indicate that the spirit world was being summoned and that it was a creature that had a corporeal body. The second and third lines were an accurate description of the creature, but due to the restrictions of the format, one couldn't use too many words to pinpoint a creature. Therefore, it was difficult to predict or divine what ultimately be summoned by the ritualist, so they don't even know. In this sort of situation, using an incantation privilege used by others implied a much lower risk. Then, after signing a contract in the description of the third sentence, the messenger that belongs to whomever or a contract companion of whomever could be made up along the three-line description to accurately summon the corresponding messenger. Yes, my messenger has to run very fast. It's a gacha game. We're about to see if we pull a 3-star, a 5-star, or like a bronze character, right? Like we got bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and like Giga Chad. So let's see. Yes, my messenger has to run very fast. That's already S tier. Otherwise, it might be killed by some malicious creature in the spirit world, resulting in the loss of important letters. Klein's mind raised, and he came up with a clear path. He literally needs to summon the Flash, man. He took a step back and said in ancient Hermes, I summon in my name. Alright, here we go, dude. What's it gonna be? I summon in my name the spirit that wanders about the unfounded, the unfriendly creature that can be subordinated, the creature whose speed surpasses imagination. Whoosh. What is it? There was a sound of wind. Okay, it's a flying creature. Tainted the candles to a dark green and turning the surrounding area cold and creepy. Klein saw a burly figure rush out, too fast for him to see anything. After that, he couldn't find the fellow ever again? Really? It's over? He didn't get him? Oh, here, hold up. Timestamp. Let's keep reading. Hold up. Timestamp. Let's keep reading. Did we not summon him? Or let's find out. 39 minutes. Beautiful. 39 minutes. 59 seconds. He got trolled? He got trolled, right? Like, and it went out. Well, he was too... Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He was so fucking fast, he ran away. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, Gito. He was so fucking fast, he, like, yeeted out the screen, dude. In his next ritual would say, like, ye, like, I summon ye, this and that, and then at the end, and he must stay when we speak. So he can bound him, right? It was too fucking fast, dude. He yeeted out. All right, that was pretty good. All right, that was pretty fucking funny. All right, next chapter. 561. All right. Chapter 561 is called Recruitment Fair. I'm sorry, is he holding, like, a fair to find a good, like, messenger? German Sparrow would have been destroyed if the Nit saw that. His whole image would have been ruined. The Nits would be like, are you really German Sparrow? Like, you're just gonna let this messenger just waltz out like that, bro? Like, are you not gonna do anything about that? That's way too fast. Did it already circle the planet? The fuck? That's way too fast. It had already circled the planet several times, or maybe it's still there, but it's too fast for my vision to keep up. Client's mouth twitched, deciding to wait a few seconds to see if the creature whose speed surpasses imagination would appear again. It wasn't worried about the summoned spirit world creature would harm the innocent, as one of the descriptions was of a friendly creature. Besides, as long as he forcibly ended the summoning and stopped the ritual, the creature would be immediately sent back to the spirit world, no matter where the creature whose speed surpasses imagination went. A few seconds later... Thank you for subscribing. Thank you, guys. Clang would die from... Unironically, he probably would die from embarrassment. He wasn't worried that the summoned spirit creature would harm the innocent, as one of the descriptions was of a friendly creature. Besides, as long as he forcibly ended the summoning and stopped the ritual, the creature would be immediately sent back to the spirit world, no matter where the creature whose speed surpasses imagination went. A few seconds later, Klein inhaled after failing to sense a response. After failing to see any response from him, waiting. Round 2? He said with ancient Hermes, I end this summoning in my name. The chilling air around him instantly vanished as the swirling cold wind who died down and the candle flames returned to their normal color. Klein stepped forward and extinguished the candle, intending to revise the last sentence and try again. As for the two phrases, the spirit that wander about the I'm reading wrong. As for the two phrases, the spirit that wanders about the unfounded, the friendly creature that can be subordinated, he had no intention of changing them. The first sentence was directed at the spirit world and it would only be replaced with synonyms, so it didn't matter if he changed it or not. The second sentence was a prerequisite for Klein to ensure his own safety, otherwise it would be a horror story instead of a hilarious one. Okay, so far he has the spirit world and friendliness locked down, so he has to change the third sentence, so like he doesn't leave. I don't need to use surpass imagination as an adjective, but others might not meet my needs. Perhaps I can change my train of thought. Why? That sounds safe. A messenger does not have to run fast. A normal speed is fine. There are other ways to ensure safety. I just need to get malicious beings to ignore it and neglect it. I'll try a spirit world creature that's easily neglected. After 2-3 minutes of deliberation, Klein had a ritual again. So it's called a recruitment fair because this one's gonna fail and he's gonna go on for like a third attempt. When he was done with the preparations, he chanted a new incantation. I summoned in my name the spirit that wanders about the unfounded, the friendly creature that can be subordinated, the being who is easily neglected. Okay. The interior of the warehouse became abnormally quiet. There was no wind, nor did it turn cold within the wall of spirituality. Even the color of the candle remained unchanged. So it's probably going to be like a strong level spirit world creature that's easily neglected, right? That like no one pays attention to. It has to be like something in plain sight that no one pays attention to. Klein waited, watching, hoping for a good messenger. After about 10 seconds, he sighed and looked around. There's nothing. The description was of no effect this time. He didn't wait any longer and followed the procedure of ending the summoning and extinguishing the candle. To his puzzlement, the candle flames even shook a few times in the end. Did I miss something? Klein frowned and then he relaxed, throwing the matter back to his mind. So no luck. He reconsidered the question of how to modify the description and continued targeting the third sentence. So he's going to target. He was too good. Oh, he was so good at being neglected, Klein didn't even notice it. Is that what happened? He was too good at being easily neglected. Client's like, all right, next one. Dude, Lord of Mysteries is so fucking funny when it wants to be funny. Literally, yeah, best in the fucking business. Clients should literally try and like now summon one with speed of imagination that's easily neglected. Now he just has to put those two sentences together, and then at the end says, "Would like to follow the fool." Or would like to follow someone with the same ideologies as the fool. Right? I'll switch to another train of thought. Did I miss something? Klein frowned and then exhaled, throwing the matter back to his mind. He reconsidered the question of how to modify the description and continued to target the third sentence. I'll switch to another train of thought. If a messenger is especially good at enduring the scuffles and have great survivability, it's still okay no matter what. A messenger that can deliver the letter to the target is a good messenger. Klein pondered for a moment, then he held a summoning ritual for the third time. Amidst the fragments of the herbs and essential oils, under the dim light of the candlelight, the shadows on his face darted about as his mouth gaped open and closed. I summoned my name, the spirit that wanders about the unfounded, the friendly creature that can be subordinated, an extraordinary creature who has extremely high survivability. The flame of the candle flared and stretched, illuminating the bright red interior of the altar. An inclined spirit vision with bones drilled out from the ground overlapped to form what looked like a safe. A safe? An extraordinary creature who has extremely high survivability. The flame of the candles flared and stretched, illuminating the bright red interior of the altar. Inclined spirit vision, white bones drilled out from the ground, overlapping to form what looks like a safe. Okay. So it looks like a safe. I finally summoned something I can see. Furthermore, it's a creature with extremely high survivability. It looks very much like a safe. Just one look is enough to tell me that it's good at taking a beating. Klein breathed a sigh of relief and spoke in ancient Hermes. Are you willing to be my messenger? The skeletal creature that looked like a safe quickly indicated its willingness, then and wriggled to the bones beneath it and crawled towards Klein slowly, very slowly. It took 10 seconds to crawl to a centimeter. This is way too slow. Is I again. This is way too slow. Client's smile froze on his face. Although messengers completed their message by traveling through the spirit world, that didn't mean that they didn't need speed. Within the spirit world, distance and orientation were chaotic. The most important thing was to find and lock onto a location. As long as an accurate, clear, immediate coordinates were provided, such as a summoning ritual just now or a simple ritual that involved blowing a whistle, then no matter where the messenger was in the spirit world, it would immediately appear within the altar. Okay, so I guess speed doesn't really matter. Literally a gacha game. When the location, you know what? I played a few gacha games here and there. You know, I'm somewhat of a recovered gacha addict, so I think I have some leeway. And for him, this is like a 4-star character. It's not a 5-star. You know, like his speed can be better, but it's a solid 4-star character. Yeah, it's a solid 4-star character. When a location wasn't the immediate and only had a contradictory connection over a previous anchor point, I read that wrong. The messenger needed to spend time to distinguish the location, roam the spirit world, and search for the target. This required a certain amount of speed. If I were to deliver the letter, the recipient might not even receive it by the time they die. We definitely don't want this one then. Klein helplessly thought as he looked at the slowly crawling skeletal creature. He let a smile and reaped on his face. After some careful consideration, I think it's best I don't trouble you. Thank you for your willingness. Aw, he was trying. He's like, never mind. The creature made of the illusory white bone stopped compared to it before. It appeared as though it hadn't moved at all. It barely moved. It appeared as though it hadn't moved at all. Klein quickly canceled the summoning and rubbed his forehead. He was a little depressed and had decided to abandon himself to despair. He decided to use a less troublesome method to find messengers, which was public recruitment and interview selection. Literally, it's a fair. After taking a deep breath, Klein calmed his mind and began the ritual seriously, looking at the candle flames and quickly burning the candle, and said, I summoned in my name, the spirit that wanders about the unfounded, the friendly creature that can be subordinated, a unique being that is willing to be my messenger. All right, hold up. I feel bad for all three. I feel bad for the one that was unrecognized. I feel bad for the safe too, because he tried his best. He's like, I'll do it. He's like, never mind. Whoosh, the wind blew fiercely inside the wall of spiritual. Okay, this is going to be a Giga Chad. This is the one. A Giga Chad, one who would do it willingly. The wind blew fiercely inside the wall of spirituality, and Klein's half-top hat almost flew off his head. The candle flame shook and expanded to the size of a human head. It was so pale that it seemed to have lost its body temperature. A translucent head slowly emerged. Ooh. as if it had just broken through a thin membrane. It was just a light gold color and it was smooth. Its eyes were bold red and it had an imposing appearance. Looks a little familiar, Klein silently muttered. The head had fully shown itself, but the followed wasn't its neck, but an illusory hand that held the end of the head's hair. Behind the palm were complicated patterns, but the color of the cuffs was dark. The summoned spirit world creature appeared to be an increasingly rapid speed, and soon it was before Klein in its entirety. It was indeed a familiar person. It was the headless... No fucking shot I called that. Did I call that or did I not call that? The headless woman holding the 4 heads, right? It was indeed a familiar person. It was a headless woman that Klein had met standing at the top of a castle while he was on his way to Calvatua's ruin at the bottom of the sea. She was no longer as large as a castle like she was before. She was now a tall, ordinary woman. Of course, there were still only cuts on her neck and 4 identical heads in her hand. Yo, dude. Did you were a good seer? Wait. And I use something that's hiding in plain sight. That's our first coincidence in a good while. Hold up. I need to see more fan art on her. All right. Did you... She speaks. I thought she would. So the messenger couldn't speak. That doesn't mean she can't speak. Okay. Did you summon me? The headless woman in the complicated black dress stood there quietly. Her 4 dropping heads spoke one. Her 4 dropping heads spoke one after the other in ancient Phasic. What the fuck? She can directly communicate through words. The level of this spirit of the world creature isn't low. I remember you having a castle. You already have a property. Oh. You already have a property owner, so why are you applying for the job of a... Dude, this literally just did like an open hire position. So why are you applying for the job of a messenger? Klein sighed with emotion and lampoon. Then he looked down at the candle behind the headless woman. He was disappointed to find that no other spirit... Why is he disappointed? He literally... Oh, that's so funny. He hit pity. He got the legendary pity pull. Then he looked down at the candle like he won the 50-50. Then he looked down at the candle behind the headless woman. He was disappointed to find that no other spirit had emerged. He had originally imagined that the many spirit world creatures would be willing to be his messenger as he swarmed over, having to form a line to be... Oh, he thought he had a bigger glow up. He thought he was going to have a lot more people, huh? Having to form a line to be interviewed. In the end, only one had responded. It should be a problem with the summoning ritual itself. It's considered a relatively simple and basic summoning ceremony, so it's impossible to summon multiple targets at once. Klein looked at the headless lady and solemnly nodded, yes. Without waiting for the other party to speak, he added another question. Can you roam the spirit world at a relatively fast speed? How good is your survivability? Literally, it's an interview. How good is your survivability? The heads, which the headless had lifted, answered, yes, not bad. As she spoke, she floated upwards and then quickly descended, displaying her speed. Phew, Klein decided to stop making attempts, which led to unknown results. Is she trying to show how fast she is? He asked in a serious manner, are you willing to sign a contract and become my messenger? The headless woman dressed fluttered slightly as her 4 heads with blonde hair and red eyes nodded at the same time. Yes, every time, 1 gold coin. Ah, a gold coin for each letter sent. Mr. Zik didn't mention the spirit world creatures have such hobbies, right? He mentioned that when signing a contract, persuasion and communication are key factors. Does this mean that this is a form of persuasion and communication? Klein was surprised and wanted to cancel the summoning immediately. He's like, oh, hell no, dude. This is so funny. She's like, wait. Let me show you how fast I am. Look, hold up. Before you take me back. Wait a minute. I might need to... Hold up. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I might not need to be the one paying for it. Whoever summons my messenger pays for it. Huh? Maybe when our communication improves, there will be the option of paying on receipt. As some thought, Klein agreed to the other party's request. Okay, let's sign the contract. He picked up a dark red fountain pen and yellowish-brown goatskin parchment that had been prepared earlier, and he quickly wrote down the contract in language which could stir in the forces of nature, ancient Hermes. The format and terms, literally he's signing like a terms of service. Hold up, man. We're literally making a terms of service for her. The format and terms were described in detail in the Zix letter. They were concise and to the point, and they contained clauses such as the messenger not being allowed to look at the letter, not discarding the letter, or endangering the life of the contractor. Of course, its contents of the letter were related to the messenger. The messenger had to be informed in advance. In addition to these, Klein added a clause to send 1 gold coin for each letter, specifically that it could be borne by the contractor by the receiver of the letter. In order to ensure the effectiveness of the contract, the final part used the honorific name of the deity in charge of this domain. It was an undead contract, and normally it meant using Dev's honorific name, but Dev had long perished with no response from him. Hence, Azik mentioned that it could be replaced by using the description of someone high in the undead domain of the underworld itself. But the binding force wasn't that strong. Without a doubt, Klein chose the underworld. So he's choosing the underworld that was created by the ancient Death, right? Phoenix. Hold up, don't tell me. Phoenix Gregorus was Death back then, right? And he was the one that made the underworld. Without a doubt, Klein chose the underworld, which had a close relationship with the Big Shot. The home of all death, the hell hidden deep within the spirit world, the witness of the decay of all living things, one that solemnly belongs to the kingdom of death. After penning these 4 sentences, the yellowish-brown goatskin parchment began to burn with a green flame, illuminating the gloomy surroundings. After he was done with the text, Klein took out a Zig's copper whistle, placed it on the goatskin, and wrote his current name, German Sparrow. This didn't necessarily require a real name, because his aura would enter the contract. The name, oh, I'm sorry, I'm yawning. The name was only used for summoning, which was to say using the messenger that belongs to German Sparrow worked, but the contract creature of Klein Moretti wouldn't. The 4X headless woman, so we'll say that. Wait, so this is German Sparrow's messenger. But the contracted creature of Klein Moretti wouldn't. When Klein finished signing, the goatskin floated up, carrying a Zig's copper whistle and the dark red fountain pen, and flew to the headless lady. The headless lady held the head with gold hair and red eyes, let it bite down on the fountain pen, and wrote her name, Renette. Oh, hold up, name reveal? Any lag? If it's lagging, let me know. But her name is called Renette Tinker? Hopefully I pronounced it right. Bro can remember the lore. Hey, you know what? Taking notes has actually been working, Romero. It's working. Not for me? Okay, yeah, at least on my end, it says stable so far. I lost her name. Oh, yeah. The green flames quickly gathered together, wrapping around the Zig's copper whistle and the yellowish-brown goatskin parchment. A few seconds later, the goatskin was reduced to ash, and the copper whistle fell in the palm of Klein's hand. The headless woman, Renetti, collectively blinked, and with the eyes of her 4 heads and her body rapidly faded away into the pale candle flames. After the contract was made, Klein no longer needed to undo the summoning. He could do with his own will. I finally have a messenger. The spirit that wanders about the... I'm reading wrong. The spirit that wanders about the unfounded, the friendly creature that can be subordinated, the messenger that belongs to German Sparrow. Well, when there's an opportunity, I'll get an artisan to create something like the copper whistle so that I don't have to summon my messenger every time via ritual. Klein cleared up the mess in a rather good mood. I've lost her name. I feel like we leveled up right there. I can't believe I said I've lost her name instead of I lost my place. Over the next few days, Bam gradually returned to normal, but the Knit still hadn't been able to receive any telegrams from Admiral Blood Pirate's crew. On Sunday morning, he flipped through the newspapers and suddenly lowered his voice, and he said to Klein, "There's a Beyonder gathering tonight. Want to attend?" Wait, did he told the Knits that? Wait, hold up. Over the next few days, Bayam gradually returned to normal, but the Knits still hadn't been able to receive any telegrams from Admiral Blood's pirate crew. On Sunday morning, he flipped through the newspapers and lowered his voice as he said to Klein, "There's a Beyonder gathering tonight. Want to attend?" Wait, what? Helene. Oh, the Knits told him if he wants to go beyond the gathering. No, okay. I thought the Knits read a news. I thought Klein wrote on the newspaper, "Would you like to attend a Beyonder meeting?" I was like, oh shit, he's gonna join. No. So he's inviting him to a pirate Beyonder gathering, or like out on the isles, right? Out on the islands. Okay, got it. I was lost for a sec. All right, next chapter. Helene, let's fucking go. How's our pace? We're 58 minutes. Whoo, look at that pace. How did bro confuse that? I don't know how the fuck I confuse that. You know, for every step forward or every 2 steps, we take 1 step back sometimes, you know? I don't know how. I guess I don't know how the fuck I misinterpreted that. I thought Klein wrote on the newspaper, and I thought it said the Nitz was reading the newspaper, and it said, "Would you like to attend?" No, I know. Yeah, reading comprehension is needed at times. Yeah, low bit memory. Sorry. You know, our bit rate on stream improved, but our bit rate IRL sometimes it goes down. Sometimes it's up there, sometimes it's low. You know, that one's a little laggy. You know, you never know what you're gonna get. All right, 562. Let's update this sucker and let's keep reading. So this is our 1, 2, 3, 4, our 5th chapter, and we are only 58 minutes into the recording. That's pretty good. Wait, hold up, help me out here. Because I never mind. It says I've been live for an hour and 15. Okay, it doesn't say how long I've been live on OBS, but it has the concurrent view count, chat rate, and views. Okay, all right. Next chapter. You guys ready? All right. 562. Beautiful. Chapter 560. Who? Chapter 562 is called Helene. Helene? Beyond her gathering, Klein thought for Ben, then he nodded and responded, okay, I should bring forward the collection of the supplementary ingredients of the marionettist potion. Oh, shit, dude. Let's fucking go, dude. Whoo! I can also see if I might meet an artisan. He subconsciously started to make arrangements in his mind. Upon seeing German Sparrow agreed, the Nitz breathed a quiet sigh of relief, unable to contain his joy. Is he excited? Aw. Look at that. He's excited that his homie's gonna join. For the past few days, having his bounty race. Oh, he's scared. He wants his bodyguard now. For the past 2 days, having his bounty raised significantly, he had obediently stayed in the suit to monitor the radio transceiver. He was so bored that he yearned for the evening to arrive immediately. The Beyonder gathering that the Nitz mentioned was at the Amiris Leaf Bar, where the pirates, informers, and the adventurers were active. It was the first choice if one wanted to gather information and buy supplies. Dressed in a black coat and silk top hat, Klein followed the Nitz through the crowded bar's lobby and into a card room. Under the watchful gaze of several bouncers, he gave the predetermined signal and descended down a flight of hidden stairs to a wide underground area. It's like the evil Dragon Bar in Tingen. There's an underground market for herbs, essential oils, ancient books, charms, and all sorts of common mystical materials. However, the difference is that there is also all sorts of guns and ammunition for sale. Klein even discovered the antiquated muskets and lead bullets. They also sell fake identity documents and fake seals. As expected of an overseas colony, their industry is much more developed than Tinken's. I'll buy a batch of ingredients later to make charms with the sea god domain. Like he wanted to make like a lightning charm. I remember that. There will always be some discounts if I purchase them in large quantities. Klein slightly turned his head from the side to take in the situation in the underground area. Next to him, the Nitz, who was already doubtful about his own disguise skills, had. Let me reread that part. Next to him, the Nitz, who was already doubtful about his own disguise skills, had deliberately put on the cap, kept the front of his cap down to the cover of his half face. With great familiarity, he led Klein to the other end of the underground market and knocked on the closed door with 2 long knocks and 4 short knocks. Behind the door, there was only a single candle. It swayed on the lamp stand on the side of the wall, scattering yellow light onto the tiny room. The Nitz pointed to the long robes, masks, and other items which were hanging or placed on a table and said to Klein, it's up to you to decide whether you would don a disguise. You can also choose not to. Klein looked around, his gaze sweeping past the bouncers in the room. I don't need it. I am now an informant of the Kingdom's military, and the Church of Storms also know my identity, so there's nothing for me to be afraid of. If the pirates and adventurers have any malicious thoughts about me because of my lack of disguise, and if they attempt to attack me, Klein suddenly pictured the bounty reward flying towards him one by one. That's pretty funny. The Nitz curled his lips secretly, picked up a black iron mask, and wore it. Okay, using his disguise. Then he and Klein plastered a dim corridor and into another room under a bouncer's lead. Lead or lead? Yeah, lead. The place was lavishly decorated. The floor was covered with thick carpet of the southern continent. The walls were decorated with shining lampstands, and the fresh smell of candles could be caught as they stuffed with light. With what? Suffused with light. Klein glanced around and, without the Nitz's help, found a brown leather sofa and sat down on it. He leaned back and crossed his right leg. There were already more than 22 people of various genders gathered here, some of wearing their hooded robes while others showed their face. According to Nit's description in the morning, not all of the people attending this gathering were Beyonders. There were spokesmen for certain factions, as well as all adventurers, pirates, and mysticism enthusiasts who want to become Beyonders. Time slowly passed in the quiet environment. About 7 or 8 minutes later, the old man who was visiting on a reclining chair straightened his back and crossed his hands. He chuckled, "Everyone, let's begin." Because he was old, his white hair was sparse, leaving only a thin layer. However, his light brown eyes weren't turbid, with them being bright and sharp. The organizer of the gathering, strongman Uzil, I read that wrong, a famous pirate in the past, and now the secret boss of the Emiris Leaf Bar. The Nits leaned slightly and introduced the man to Klein with a suppressed voice. He'd actually mentioned in the morning, but he was afraid that German Sparrow failed to match a name to the face that will later vent his anger on himself. It's a sorrowful matter that has a secret grasped by others. The Nits sighed inwardly. Klein nodded indiscriminately as he silently watched the transaction happen. There were potion formulas for warrior, sailor, mystery prior, and others, but no one thought them. I'm reading wrong. The expectant sailors were disappointed again and again. The Nits glanced at German Sparrow, who wore an expressionless face. He then leaned over and explained in a low voice, "There is no notoriety in this gathering, nor any powerful seers. The authenticity of the potion formula cannot be guaranteed. It's too easy to fake such things." They need Isengard. If people can recognize the formula is fake, the seller cannot be punished because he might be a victim as well. I know this is one of the reasons why potion formulas fail to be widely spread. Klein uncrossed his right leg, leaned forward, and slightly and said in the voice that was neither loud nor low, "I need the remnant spirituality of an ancient rave." He didn't mention the eyes of the six-winged gargoyle, the spring water of the Sonia Island. So he's not asking for everything. All right, he's only like little pieces. He didn't mention the eye of the six-winged gargoyle, the spring water from the Sonia Island Golden Spring, or any other supplementary ingredients. He was worried that others would guess that he was a faceless who was preparing to advance to marionettist. When he was in Tinkin, Klein had relied on the purchase of supplementary ingredients to accurately suspect that Dexter Gudian was a prospective spectator, and thus he figured out his identity as a member of the Psychology Alchemists. It was impossible to deduce any more from the remnant spirituality of the ancient Wraith alone, as many of the rituals in the undead domain would use it. Although Klein didn't disguise himself, he still had to be careful. The room was silent for 2 seconds, then a slightly hoarse voice sounded, "How much do you need?" "Someone really has it." Klein controlled his expression and didn't let his joy show on his face. He tilted his head to look at the spectator and saw that he was a man in his 30s who was clearly of native blood. The man's skin was bronze, but he had a dull luster from a chronic malnutrition or a lack of light. His face was thin, his cheekbones protruded, and his eyes were sunken, more white than black. A small bottle. Klein pulled out a small metal bottle as an example. Shit, dude. Cavatua arc was my least favorite arc in volume. Now we're finally getting some good. Ooh, so I like the Cavatua arc because we finally saw Klein take on like a false deity, and he was still able to beat him. And that shows he's almost ready for like a high sequence Beyonder fight. I don't know. That's how I interpreted that fight with Cavatua. Like he's almost ready for a high sequence Beyonder fight. The thin, dark man was silent for a moment before saying 500 pounds. That's reasonable. Klein originally wanted to haggle, but he caught a glimpse of the Nit sitting beside him out of the corner of his eye. I'm German Sparrow, a cold, crazy adventurer. Klein repeated this line 3 times inwardly. Quali took a deep breath and calmly nodded. Okay. He took out a large stack of cash and had prepared, and he counted out a sum of 500 pounds. The man with the mostly white eyes took out a glass test tube from his pocket, threw it at Klein, and said all the spirituality would be gone after a year. He's gonna do this in like a few days, bro. He's gonna digest maybe in a few weeks. He wasn't afraid that the other party wouldn't be unable to catch it, because even if it were to break, it wouldn't affect the material itself. It would only be a matter of changing the container. Klein raised his right hand and accurately caught the glass tube. He saw many phosphorescent spots floating in the tube, and when they touched the glass wall, they would strangely expand, forming a face with blurred features that opened to form a mouth that screamed silently. What the fuck is that description? What? Wait, what? They would strangely expand, forming a face with blurred features that opened to form a mouth that screamed silently. It's real. Klein nodded to himself and handed the thick stack of cash worth 500 pounds to the attendant, who appeared and handed it to the sailor. Sorry, I'm doing this a lot because my mic is kind of blocking the bottom part right here a little. The trading continued, most of it failing with only a small number succeeding. At the end of the day, the gathering organizers, strongman Uzo, laughed and said, I have a request. As he spoke, he pulled out a photo from his inside pocket. The reward for finding the person above is 1,000 pounds. Clients will be like, I know a guy. 1,000 pounds or some other common beyonder ingredients of equal value. Remember, do not hurt her. 1,000 pounds. This would make most adventurers go crazy. I wonder who he's looking for to offer such a high reward. No, surprisingly, Klein saw that everyone present was willing to give it a try. The picture began to be passed in kind of clockwise fashion, and after a few minutes later, it was Klein's hand. As he casually swept a glance over it, a bit of surprise suddenly surfaced his face. Who is it? The one in the photo was rather pretty, with bright red hair and a pair of green eyes that resembled emeralds. Her skin wasn't fair, but she gave off a healthy feeling. At the time of the photo shoot, she was wearing a long lake-colored skirt. Her waist was tightened with a flower-shaped ribbon, making her appear exceptionally slender. Although her face seemed to be smiling, her overall appearance was one of the displeasure and awkwardness. A girl with a good family background, who would pay 1,000 pounds to find her? Furthermore, the premise is that she cannot be hurt. A picture of her forcing a smile. Many romance stories were intertwined. Love and hate flashed in Klein's matter. Stories like a tyrannical pirate falling in love with a wealthy merchant's daughter, abducting her onto his boat before she eventually escaped, or some noble lady from a declining noble family turning into a pirate and was later caught due to mistake only to have a sinful relationship with a mid or high sequence mandated puncher or military officer, thus escaping for her predicament and imprisonment. How a newly advanced demoness accidentally fell into a debt of a love of giving someone pleasure. Such thoughts flash. He's thinking of all this. Klein is becoming forged now. He's writing his own fanfic, just looking at the pictures like, all this had to have happened. When giving someone pleasure, such thoughts flashed through his mind, and Klein almost raised his head to cover his face. Yo, what's up, Adam? I've read too many novels in my previous life, and I happen to have a trauma because of the demoness in this world. He sang to himself, looked up at his own, and asked, what's her name? Helene. Oh, the name of the... He's creating a TV novella. That's literally what he's doing. And it's kind of funny. He's like, maybe, you know what? Maybe he should force a script on everything he theorizes. And you'd be like, just change the names, you know? Help her digest. Helene Uzo answered Helene Uzo answered. I don't know, why am I reading that wrong? Thank you to the 30 of you guys hanging out with me right now. But hearing me mispronounce words. But she must have switched to using a fake alias. Helene, a typical female, into his name. Klein asked again, is there anything she often wears? Hair is fine too. This was a medium that could be used to seek her with divination. Klein didn't mention the things like recently worn clothes that hadn't been washed. Afraid that an employer behind the scenes would throw him a piece of lingerie, making it awkward. Uzo shook his head. Nothing. She has a strong anti-tracking ability. What's her strength like? Another member of the gathering asked. Uzo said in a serious manner. The employer didn't give a detailed description. It said that she isn't too strong, but she's stronger than a sequence 9. So between 9 and 7, maybe? 9, maybe not 6. You don't need to capture her. As long as you determine her whereabouts, you will be paid. Succinctly. I think I said it right. All right, next chapter. All right, 563. Timestamp. 563, new chapter. Let me just text the missus and then we will continue. 1 hour, 10 minutes, 55 seconds. Yeah, let me just text the missus and then we shall continue. Hold up. No shot, my thing didn't upload. I've been trying to upload this damn TikTok all day and it doesn't upload. We're gonna try this again. I'm trying to upload like the first 10 minutes of her chapter 1 reaction. Yeah, she's still feeling pretty sick. Yeah. Alright. Let's see. What I'm planning to do, if this shit lets me, is upload the first 10 minutes of like every chapter or so on TikTok. But we're gonna see if it fucking uploads again. Son of a bitch. It's just pissing me off. It says 10 minutes, so I literally have it at 9 minutes and 58 seconds. 10 TikTok videos are not the move? No? Okay, probably not then. Maybe 3 minutes? One man cap with Subway Surfer gameplay on the bottom. I don't know. I was just trying to upload the first 10 minutes just to see what happened, but let's keep reading. Everything's good. I lied. Before we read, let me turn on the fan. It's kinda hot. My room gets a little hot with the PC on for so long. And now that I have this light over my head, I'm starting to get a little sweat over here, okay? It went up 2%. 3%? Okay, it might actually upload. Well, then also put like for full reactions, just go on my YouTube. So yeah, but we'll see. We'll see how it works with just the first chapter, and then we'll just upload all the remaining theories that we didn't get to. This is our 1, 2, 3. This is our 6th chapter. Is gonna get stuck at 99. Man, this shit was fucking stuck at 60 for like a whole day. All right, but let's see if this one uploads now. All right, chapter 563 is called The Fool's Blessing. As long as you can confirm her location, you can receive 1,000 pounds. It is the first time I've seen such a mission. On the street outside of the Amiris Leaf Bar, Denitz rubbed his hands together with a hint of excitement. He clenched his fist and hit the tall iron black gas lamppost, yearning to immediately wander around the city and find the red-haired woman named Helene. They might just find her. To him, I was about to read this. Hold up. No, I haven't read this. To him, 1,000 pounds wasn't a small sum. It was enough to add one more house to his line of properties in Bayonne. It just wouldn't be located in the most prosperous and valuable districts. The elf flying carpet he had previously obtained was only around 2,000 to 3,000 pounds, and this was a reward he had gained from fighting the dangerous fellows such as Steel Mavetti and the Blood Brambles Hendry. It was completely incomparable to the easy mission of finding someone. And Klein, who was walking ahead, held a package wrapped in newspaper. They were the charm materials which had cost him 15 pounds. He slowed his pace a little, glanced at Denitz, and spoke without expression. 5,500 pounds. It's pretty high. Denitz's excitement froze on his face. Only then he remembered an apartment problem, and my thing fell. Don't tell me you broke. Okay. We entered the abyss for a sec. Holy shit, that was so fucking funny. I was like, what the fuck was that? I thought my stream crashed. Okay. By the way, shit, huge tangent. OTM volume 3. Let me quickly show you guys this. Should I add this on our stream? Or nah? You guys tell me. Hold up. Just give me like 2 seconds. Bear with me. Should I make this our new image for Lord of Mysteries or nah? Darn, so I'll literally be done in like 2 seconds. Pictures. Where's the one I just saved? Oh, that's faceless. Where the fuck is my traveler one? Hold up, I swear to God I'm not stalling. Because I was thinking of changing this. Ah, fuck it, I can't find it. She's fucking pissing me off. Why can't I find it? Alright, I give up. If I can't find it in 10 seconds, I'm just closing it. Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi, 9 Mississippi, 10 Mississippi. I didn't find it. I don't care. Alright, we don't need it anymore. Alright, let's just keep reading. I was trying to put the volume 3 cover for like what it looked like. It was like just him on a boat. And I was like, oh, okay, that looks pretty cool. But I guess I can add it. Let me find my place. I got PTSD. Wow, wait, hold up. I don't know what PTSD from what. We'll be careful. Oh, by the way, guys, it says 74% uploaded. It might actually upload. Yo, if you guys got TikTok, show some love and appreciation. If it does go up or not, you know, like, comment. We'll see if it even uploads. It's 74. Let's start from here. After that, slight distraction. The elf flying carpet he had previously obtained was only around 2,000 to 3,000 pounds, and this was the reward he had gained. I read this part. Klein, who was walking ahead, held a package wrapped in newspaper. There were the charm materials, which cost him 15 pounds. He slowed his pace a little, glanced at the Nits, and spoke without expression. 5,500 pounds. ... The Nick's excitement froze on his face. Only then did he remember an important problem. In the eyes of the other pirates and adventurers, he was as attractive as red-haired Helene. They didn't need to fight him. Once they recognized him, they could report his identity to the military, the church, or the police, and they would receive a reward more than 1,000 pounds. After all, he was already a great pirate worth 5,500. Searching for red-haired Helene would be equivalent to a lady with a nice figure and good looks entering the Red Theater for entertainment. Dog shit. The Nit spat out a single word, his face grim as he stretched out to the middle consonant. I read that wrong. Sorry. At the same time, he automatically put down his cap even lower to hide his face more. Klein, who had poured cold water on the Nits, resumed his normal walking speed and considered the question of finding the red-haired Helene. The lack of a medium and necessary information, he made it difficult for him to use divination, so he had to consider other methods. Activate my underlings to do my investigation of the entire city. This is something that can only be done by the church, the military, and the police. Even the local gangs would find it difficult to accomplish. Wait, I think I can. I'm now Sea God Calvatua. My believers are all across the Bay and the Blue Mountain Island. I just need to make an announcement. No, a revelation to all my believers. And I can get them to search for a red-haired Helene. But would this damage my standing? To do something like that for 1,000 pounds, even if God wants some face? So maybe he won't do it. If I were the real sea god, I wouldn't care about this. However, I'm not acting as Calvatua. I have to maintain the dignity of a god as best as I can. Back when Calvatua was on the verge of collapse, it didn't even broadcast a revelation when it was urgently trying to find Leticia and her subordinates. Instead, it only gave orders to the worshippers in the upper echelons. I can change its commandments as part of the reconstructing an image, but it can't appear too low class. That should also be a requirement of true acting. It would be difficult to organize the investigation just by giving Kalat, Edmonton, and the others a revelation. Furthermore, they would definitely magnify the severity of the issue and causing a huge commotion. It would only make things more difficult to deal with later. There's another solution. I can throw the radar transceiver above the Grey Fog and attempt to contact the magic mirror Erodes. I'll ask him about the red-haired Helene location. I have to be careful about this. I need to prepare ahead of time and confirm it via divination. I don't want to receive strange telegrams from the true creator or the primordial diviness yet. Yet. It's gonna happen later. And we're going to continue reading from here. Even a glance at it would probably make me go mad. Having quickly come up with ideas, Klein boarded a rental carriage parked at the corner of the street. The Nits pressed his cap and followed closely behind. Returning to the Wind of the Azure Inn, Klein took off his hat and coat while saying to the Nits, if your captain's contacts you through a dream, ask for information about the red-haired Helene. She probably doesn't know, otherwise I would have known this red-haired Helene. The Nits grinned. I don't know who's looking for her to be willing to pay 1,000 pounds. His thoughts were whirling, imagining a love story akin to the other Emperor Rizal's penned. Others had penned. Klein glanced at him and casually mentioned, I'll do the monitoring tonight. You're doing this. The Nit snapped out of his fantasies, wondering if he had heard wrongly. Yes, Klein nodded. Germansbauer realizes that I'm too exhausted. Although this fellow's a little crazy, he's still a good person at heart. He had actually decided to risk the life to save those people when we were at the Banshee Harbor for reasons that could be considered good. The Nit sighed to himself. Carrying the radio transceiver and its relevant parts, Klein went into the bedroom, locked the door, and threw them above the Grey Fog with a sacrificial ritual. After doing all this, he was in no hurry to leave the towering palace. He waved his hand and the Sea God scepter flew out from the junk pile. He scanned through the prayers of different people and gathered experience of how people had multiple facades. In the process, he would occasionally respond like a child who still had great interest in a new toy. Like a child who... Wait, what? In the process, he would occasionally respond like a child who still had great interest in a new toy. As Klein's browsing drew to a close rippling of light began to form around the seat of the fool. Around the seat of the fool. Wait, what? As Klein's browsing drew to a close, ripplings of light began to form around the seat of the fool. Someone is praying to me, the fool, and not the sea god. Klein, you remember? Someone is praying to me, to the fool, and not the sea god. Klein raised his eyebrows and emanated his spirituality, scanning the scene within the rippling light. Enement harbored in a room with closed curtains, dressed in a classic black robe. Ed Sheeran is in Lord of Mysteries. I'm sorry, is Ed Sheeran going to become a Terror Club member? What's going on here? What is going on here? Ed Sheeran? Fucking Ed Sheeran. His new song is going to be like, The Fool Above the Great Fog. We'd be listening to Ed Sheeran if we could, but that's definitely copyrighted. I'm just imagining Ed Sheeran in a classic black robe. Ed Sheeran resisted the impulse in his heart and said to the sweet young girl Denise, "The gift of God is in our bodies, but if we want to obtain it, we must have a teacher guide it out. Your soul is pure and is believed by God. I will personally guide you in the process. No matter what happens, you must trust me and listen to me." Remember when Ed Sheeran appeared in Game of Thrones? I got the same feeling. I was going to mention that, but I was like, never mind. Yeah, when Ed Sheeran came out, that was pretty funny. Yeah, he came out in season 8, right? No. It was like 5 or 7. Somewhere in the second half, he did come out. I remember that. He just started singing, and everyone was like, wow, he's so beautiful singing. It's like, I love it. This is amazing. I had a good chuckle. I was like, yeah, man, he really does know how to sing in Game of Thrones. I was like, we should bring him back. Imagine he was like singing at the Red Wedding. That'd be wild, bro. It's a character you know. No way we've met Ed Sheeran already. Really? Really, Makayo? Really? Did we actually meet Ed Sheeran? Ed Sheeran was a... Ooh, we've met a swindler before, though. Before that, do you have any questions? Ed Sheeran was a swindler. He specifically wants to establish a cult to cheat others for money and sex. He would then decisively flee before it reached a certain scale that would garner the attention from the police. This time he had come from the... Okay, hold up. We actually don't like Ed Sheeran in this series. This time he had come from Backland, disguised as one of the fools blessed that many gangsters in the capital were looking for. He had also developed a batch of believers in his target group. He falsely claimed that the fool was an incarnation of the Lord of Storms, and that he would come to save the faithful during the apocalypse. This is a secret that could not be widely publicized and can only be spread in secret, otherwise it would attract the attention of the gods. It's definitely attracting someone's attention. It would attract the attention of the gods of the other churches. Only those who were chosen by would be able to believe in the fool and advance and be the first batch of the redeemed. To make himself appear more persuasive, he spent a lot of money in Backland buying a piece of paper with the honorific name of the fool written on it. As for what was on the piece of paper, his comment was, "It looks like it's real." Denise asked with both fear and anticipation, Lord Adorer, why didn't we get a response when we read the honorific name of God? Aren't we blessed who had been selected and should bathe in God's grace? I'll immediately give you God's grace. Ed Sheeran took a deep breath and surpassed the tantalizing images in his mind. 2 reasons. First, you haven't discovered the grace of God, which is hidden in your body. I will help you complete the latter. This guy is disgusting, man. Second, you are not a devout enough. Don't argue. I can see right through you. After you do all this, you will be able to recite the honorific name of God and recite response just like me. Under Denise's idolizations and curious gaze, Ed Sheeran picked up a pen on the table beside her and scribbled a line of words. It was the Hermes language used for sacrificial offering. In order to make the scam a success, Ed Sheeran had acquired a lot of religious knowledge and even went to a university department of history to sit in an archaeology courses. Holding the paper in front of Denise, he proudly recited the words he had written to Hermes, the fool that doesn't belong to this era, the mysterious ruler above the great fog, the king of yellow and black who wields good luck. Following that, with a half-closed eyes and open heart, he said dreamily, I feel the blessings of God. At this moment, a streak of silver lightning descended from the sky and landed right on Ed Sheeran's head. What? I'm sorry, was that him? Was that Klein? Was he using the sea scepter? With a sizzling sound, the tiny electric bolts snaking across his body scared. With God's blessing, he fell to the ground and his body quickly charred while his muscles twitched violently. After a few seconds, he stopped all movements, including the breathing, as Denise exclaimed, Lord Ed Sheeran is indeed God's blessed. Denise finally sensed that something wasn't right. She stepped forward carefully, lifted her skirt, and knelt down, placing her finger to the tip of Ed Sheeran's nose. Like that? Like, oh shit. Did Klein kill him? He literally got blessed. He got hit with the heavenly punishment, dude. He's dead. He's dead. Denise jerked back and forth and fell to the ground in terror. She burst into she should be bursting into tears of joy. What do you mean? She doesn't know yet. She burst into tears and stumbled out the room, heading for the nearby police station. R.I.P. Ed Sheeran. Atop the grave fog, Klein silently retracted the Sea God scepter. You actually dared to use my name to cheat others of their wealth and sully woman. The corner of his mouth twitched, wishing he could give another bolt of lightning to the man named Ed Sheeran. Damn. Cuttlefish probably doesn't like Ed Sheeran, man. Cuttlefish does not like Ed Sheeran. He probably heard his music. I don't like this guy. I didn't say that. I'm just assuming he received God's grace. Dude, that is so... His wife actually loves Ed Sheeran. That is so funny. Why would he make Ed Sheeran such a despicable person in this series then? This was called a corpse mutilation. Wow. This girl would probably call the police, right? This kind of case would inadvertently be referred to as corresponding beyond her team. I wonder if it would be the Nighthawks, the managed practitioners, or the machinery hive mind. After what Mr. A has done, my reputation as a fool isn't small in Backland. Perhaps I already have a doser in the official organizations. Well, maybe they'll put everything together and hand it over to Red Gloves or something similar for handling. Klein's past identity and insight as a Nighthawk had allowed him to consider the possible future of developments. Damn. He asked for a blessing and got smited. However, he quickly put this matter to the back of his mind because no matter what, they wouldn't be able to detect that it was him. Klein threw the Sea God scepter back into the junk pile, ready to return to the real world. Suddenly, one of the dark red stars that was quietly floating in a boundless gray fog lit up all of a sudden, emitting a light that was as bright as water. It swelled and shrunk repeatedly in an abnormal, conspicuous manner. This was a crimson... Okay. We're getting a new member already. This was a crimson star that didn't belong to any member of the Terror Club. What a busy day today. Who could it be? Like Miss Justice, Mr. Hangman, and Little Son, someone is relying on a certain object to connect with the gray fog. How are these items connecting, bro? Someone is relying on a certain object to connect with a gray fog. Klein's spirituality spread out as he thought. He didn't respond and only observed. Oh, shit. Who could it be? Knowledge as a pursuer. Okay. Alright, let's get into the next chapter. Finally, Pig? Ain't no fucking way. Alright, man. Let's fucking go. Can I quickly look at an image? Let's see if we can call this bitch. Parrot cards. Here we fucking go. Let me see. Let me quickly look at this sucker. Let me see what we got. Let me look, hold up. Before we read. Let me do my timestamp. Wow, I actually forgot my timestamp. So this actually worked out. 1 hour, 24 minutes, 31 seconds. Let's see what fucking fits in this volume. Let's see what fits. Maybe because they are mysterious objects. Lord of Mysteries. I understood that reference. I understood that Lord of reference. I understood that Lord of the Mysteries reference. Alright, let me see. Let's look at these suckers. Magic Hour Tarot deck. I mean, I don't think they'll mind me looking at their tarot cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 10. This only has 14. I want to look at all of them. Hold up. What could it be? I can't read none of this shit. There are way too many tarot cards. Okay. Alright. Let me just look at the ones I can read. But who will be the next Tarot Club member? There's Wheel of Fortune, the Hermit, Strength, Chariot, Lovers, Emperor, Empress. Emperor and Empress are going to be later on. King of Pentacles, Knight Pentacles. I feel like I'm reading the wrong things. There are way too many. This looks like more than 22. Okay, this looks more fitting. The Devil? No. Temperance? Probably not. It's probably not going to be Death. The picture of the tower has a lightning bolt with thunder and storm. So if we get I'm gonna lock in this. The tower. If we get a new Tarot Club member this arc, or this volume, is going to be the tower just because of it looks like a watchtower that's being hit by lightning and there's like a thunderstorm in the background. Or the star. Just a lady pouring water into the lake. And maybe that represents the ocean. But I'm feeling the tower. Alright. Clip it, ship it, send it. Clip it, ship it, send it. Next chapter. Let's keep reading. Chapter 564 is called Knowledge as a Pursuer. As Klein's spirituality made contact the constantly expanding and contradicting Crimson Star, presenting the image and sound contained within. A black-haired woman in a... Is it Aline? No, Aline had blonde hair, right? A black-haired woman in a classical robe had fallen to the ground, writhing in pain. She held an ordinary-looking celestial globe in one hand. In the other hand, she held a short scepter that wasn't even the length of a smart arm. Her strong will to survive almost broke through the binding of the Crimson Stars and directly entered Klein's ears. Like Justice in the Sun, the woman's figure appeared rather blurry, making it difficult to discern her exact appearance, but there were some things Klein could clearly see, such as her facial features, such as her splitting cheek muscles and the flesh inside that was contracting into eyeballs. He can see all that? Other features, including her ears, stretched outward like a trumpet, or her fingers, which were scratching at the floor to create brisk streaks of blood. Ah, shit, dude. As well as a pair of cold, lashless eyes that were almost transparent and were situated above her. Nah, what the fuck, man? So she's losing control. The black-haired girl's mutation didn't decline. Her body was tenaciously healing itself, causing the flesh and blood within resembling an eyeball to melt away. Her ruptured muscles fused together and her extended ears shrunk inward. Every detail was in a repetitive seesaw-like struggle between the two states. Klein was dazzled by the illusory, lashless eyes. It was as if he had returned to Tinkin, back to the time when he was first mastered spirit vision. Back then, he had seen a pair of eyes like that on old Neil. Tenacious. Why did I mispronounce tenacious? Thank you. She's okay. She's always losing control. Okay, we're gonna save her. Fuck the hidden sage. Fuck this bitch. No one likes it, man. Hold up, hold up. Are we getting a hidden sage reference? Hold up, hold up. Oh, I lost my place. Hold up. Everybody calm. Everybody calm down. Hold up. I didn't lose my place. How do I lose my fucking place, man? How do I lose my place? No fucking shot I lost my place. Now I have to awkwardly... Oh, wait, right here. I found my place. Back then, he had seen a pair of eyes like that on old Neil's back. Hidden sage. Klein leaned back in his chair, stretched out his hands, and took out his hold of the sea god scepter that once again flew out of the junk pile. He planned to lend a helping hand to smite those evil eyes with a few bolts of lightning. However, after careful examination, he sharply realized that the black-haired woman abnormally had stemmed from the crazy ravings that no one else could hear. This was because the source of everything was in her ears, deep within her spirit body, her soul body. It's very similar to the situation when Miss Magician suffered from the ravings of the full moon. Fortunately, I'm experienced, otherwise I would have given the wrong response. Klein thought for a moment and thought of a way to save her. It was to pull her spirit body above the gray fog and directly block out the crazy ravings. As long as the source of power was gone, the mutation would be quickly dealt with by the lady's self-recovering powers. As for whether she was worth saving, or if she harbored malicious intentions, the current him was no longer as troubled as he was in the past. If the black-haired lady had committed a heinous crime to a certain degree and had already established a connection with the mysterious space above the gray fog, through the Crimson Star, Klein could give her a few lightning bolts at times and let her be thrown back to where she belonged. If she really has any kind of malicious intentions, or if she causes any accidents, I, who possess the Sea God Scepter, the Black Emperor card, and am incapable of using the Grey Fox power to some degree, wouldn't lack the ability to resist. Klein held onto the White Bone Scepter in his right hand and pointed at the remote star. All right, here we go. Who is it gonna be? His spirit energy surged and poured into the crimson red light that was like flowing water. This time, he was able to establish a mysterious and stable connection with ease. The black-haired lady figure instantly appeared at the side of the long brown stable, sitting on the chair that didn't belong to any current members of the Terror Club. Who is it gonna be? Alright, what is her name gonna be? As for Klein, he can see from the final image of the Crimson Stars, and the mutation on her body had weakened significantly. He nodded indiscriminately, patiently waiting for the other party to speak. The black-haired lady was still somewhat adrift. 1 second she was struggling in extreme pain, with her vision gradually turning black, and the next second she was inside a towering, doomed pallet. Oh wait, no. That's never mind. Never mind. That's not like, she's not gonna be the tower, right? maybe reference. Beneath her was an endless and silent gray fog that was extended outwards endlessly. How couldn't she be taken aback? After a brief moment of silence, she turned her gaze to a figure leisurely sitting at the very end of the model long table. She asked with an ethereal voice, "Is this the underground? You aren't dead." Klein laughed. "Oh, is this the underworld? You aren't dead." Klein laughed. At this moment, he saw that the symbol tainted with starlight quickly changed on the back of the black-haired lady's high chair, forming a pair of eyes that contained countless repleasant stars. They were cold and indifferent, and they lacked eyelashes. Based on the past experience, he believed that this was a symbol representing the mystery prior pathway. Damn. The black-haired lady froze, gradually regaining her senses. Instinctively, she scanned her surroundings before finally casting her gaze. This is so hype, dude. Before finally casting her gaze at the mysterious man shrouded behind the gray fog. White shirt, tailcoat, no tie, black pants, bright leather boots, seemingly black hair, and a blurry appearance. There's nothing strange about this. He casually holds a milky white scepter that's slightly longer than an arm in his hand, and that scepter, the black-haired lady, pupils contracted as the depths of her eyes reflected in its eyes, the blue gemstones and the aura of the storm from the surrounding that it stirred. Furthermore, there was countless points of lights that surrounded it, giving it a wholly majestic feeling. No way, dude. Oh my god. I miss old Neil, man. This should have been old Neil, man. Old Neil should have been joining. He should have been able to live happily ever after with us, man. Don't look at God. Don't look. Don't look. It's a scepter at the demigod level. He's playing with it like a toy. He doesn't care about it at all. The lady in the black narrowed her eyes and cautiously asked, "How may I address you?" "You may call me Mr. Fool." This shit, dude. The experienced client answered. The fool, the black-haired lady, ruminated over the word before asking with deliberation, I've heard of your honorific name from the Aurora Order's Mr. Z. Oh, Mr. Z was definitely pissed off that Mr. A is dead. Oh, yeah, he has definitely been mad. He's like, the fool, man. He probably had something to do with it, man. She waited for his assertion or denial. You know the Aurora Order, Mr. Z. He can be considered an old friend. Clayton laughed but didn't reply. Instead, he said, "Do you not plan on introducing yourself? This is the most basic of etiquette." Yo, we got the full clout. Yeah, we got that Terror Club clout now, dude. Holy shit. He's wearing that like a badge of honor, dude. Oh, shit. This is the most basic of etiquette. The black-haired lady recalled what had happened to her and fell silent again. After a few seconds, she said in a slight muffled voice, "My name is Katlia, and I have the..." Oh, what the fuck? It's the Admiral of Stars. What? Oh, she was literally mentioned since Volume 2. It's Katlia. What the fuck? Yo, is she gonna be a Terror Club member? So it's not gonna be Edwina. It's gonna be her. As the Admiral of Stars. Shit, I wanted Edwina. We'll take her. We'll take Katlia. Yo, we saved her. And I have the nickname Admiral Stars. Mr. Full, were you the one who saved me? Admiral Stars. The Admiral Stars, one of the 7 pirate admirals. No shot, we're pulling in one of the 7 pirate admirals into the Terror Club. Someone with a bounty of 37,000 pounds. A new recruit is a little... We literally pulled in an admiral, bro. Oh my god, man. I've saved a treasure trove. No, a person of high status. Klein shifted in his seat slightly, half surprised, half amused. He chuckled and replied, "Wasn't that obvious?" Admiral Stars, Katlia immediately stood up and said, "Thank you for your assistance. If you have anything you need me to do, you can directly instruct me, as long as it's within my capabilities and doesn't violate my principles." That's nice of you. Very, very seasoned experience. She is indeed worthy of being the well-known Admiral Stars. Klein couldn't help but sigh. I'm sorry, was she the one that formed that, like, star-like transparent bridge when she walked out? Literally the big difference. Yeah, the best coincidence. Definitely we pulled in a big shot. She was the one that made that like mystical bridge, right? Yeah, like when Olga saw her, she was like, "Oh shit." No wonder you guys were so hyped. You were like, I literally remember you guys saying the foreshadowing. Oh, finally. I remember you guys saying that. Sorry, I'm picking my nose. This stupid thing. I literally remember you guys like, finally. It's her. And then you guys didn't say anything on that. No, I remember her. She has aura. Oh, she's definitely gonna have aura in the Terror Club. No, dude, we won, man. Gotcha 50-50. You know, Klein lost in one messenger battle by not getting more, but we pulled in like the best recruit to pull besides like okay, we're probably not pulling in King of the Five Seas Nest into the Terror Club, but we're pulling in an Admiral. That's pretty hype, dude. That is so sick. It's a scepter of the demigod level. Wait, I read this. Hold up, I read this. Amongst his, did I read this? Hold up. Her code name will be very adequate. Well, hold up, we'll find out right now. Hold up, we'll it's definitely not tower. It's gonna have something to do with stars. But here, let me find my place. That's nice of you. Very sweet. Oh, okay, I found my place. Lag indeed. Ooh. No. Sorry. Yeah, I scrolled. This time I lost my place because I lagged too much. I scrolled down too much. All right. We have found our place and we are back with that slight lag. Yeah. Okay. So she's not gonna be called the tower. I didn't read it, but there's probably gonna be a tarot card portrayed to the star. Like there's gonna be a tarot card called something to stars. That has to be it, right? If we're like over here Admiral Stars, come on, she has to take that one. And then the stars represent like the hidden eyes of the mystery power, like i.e. Hidden Sage. That's a good reference. Among his Tarot Club members, with the exception of the Hangman and his incarnation, the world, all of them were rather inexperienced when they first participated. Miss Justice was one of those who vaguely understood the mysterious world, but she hadn't really stepped into it yet. The Sun was one of those who received sufficient education, but due to the isolated environment and his relatively young age, he was very simple and honest. The Magician may have been stuck at Sequence 9 for several years, but she had always been an unaffiliated Beyonder. She didn't know much about all sorts of hidden factions, but she lacked experience, The Moon, Emlyn, comes from a Beyonder race with a faction with deep heritage backing him. However, due to his preference of staying home to play with dolls, he is greatly lacking experience in certain aspects. He was very gullible as a result. That fellow Emlyn smart, but if he were to meet Demoness Trissy, he would be tricked by her into selling his dolls. Klein secretly teased the vampire, which could be considered a friend in the real world. Aww. He looked at the Admiral Stars and didn't directly respond to the matter as her repaying him for saving her life. Instead, he smiled and asked, "Are you a member of the Moses Ascent Order?" Yes, Ketlia didn't believe that this was something she could hide from Mr. Fool. Klein smiled. No way, dude. Yo. Did I not say, or did not say, that eventually we would reach a point where we would have to start recruiting people from, like, the quote-unquote bad side, right? Wait, no, I'm sorry. Moses Ascent Order is not the Aurora Order. My bad. I thought that was... Oh, shut up. I thought... For a second, I thought I read the Aurora Order, and that's why she brought up Mr. Z. Never mind. Sorry, I lied. Yes, Katlia didn't believe that this was something that she could hide from Mr. Fool. Klein smiled. What did you just do to provoke that guy? He wasn't sure that the pair of eyes belonging to the Hidden Sage, so he used a vague term, that guy, instead, so that no matter what, the Fool was absolutely correct and upheld his standing. After a moment of silence, Katlia said, "No, I didn't provoke him." She paused, then she continued, "The members of the Moses Set Order believe that all objects are numeric and we pursue knowledge itself." Okay, sorry, but she's not part of the bad crew. However, Emperor Rizal once said that we aren't pursuing knowledge, but the knowledge is pursuing us. The Hidden Sage is an embodiment of... Hold up, we're getting new lore. Fuck him, I don't even want to note this down. I hate the Hidden Sage. The Hidden Sage is an embodiment of knowledge itself. He is chasing us. Every single Moses Ascent Order member, when too much knowledge is injected into us without us being able to quickly digest and master it, a situation like before would happen. Either I lower my defenses and open my mind to accept the modifications from the Hidden Sage, or I would tenaciously recite it or end up losing control. Damn. Hey, yo, we're just misunderstood, bro. If that's the case, you aren't specifically targeted by the Hidden Sage. Even if you manage to escape from the previous predicament, you wouldn't be suspected of anything. According to what you said, you are very knowledgeable. Back then, old Neil only wanted to obtain the knowledge of the human body, refined and of a perfect revival. Klein suddenly sighed. Oh my god, I can't read. Klein suddenly signed, but he didn't show it on his face. The reputation of the Admiral Stars isn't too bad. She's the kind of pirate with a code of honor. Klein stopped his thoughts and calmly said, "If something similar happens again, you can recite my name." recite your name. Katlia's lips quivered, instinctively wanted to refuse. In the end, she didn't say anything, and she fell silent for a long time. After repeatedly weighing the pros and cons, she stood up, crossed her arms in front of her chest, and slightly bowed and said, "How may I be of service?" Klein laughed and said in an indifferent tone, "In the future, provide some assistance to my blessed." By your will, Katlia sat down again and asked cautiously, "Is the honorific name provided by Mr. Z yours?" She repeated the honorific name of the fool to him. Klein nodded his head, indicating that she was right. That's sick, dude. Katlia looked at the end of the empty seats and asked, after some deliberation, "Honorable Mr. Fool, will there be others here as well?" Klein laughed and replied, "People like you yourself. They set up a regular gathering and I bear witness." After a few seconds of silence, Katlia asked, "Can I participate?" She thought that she wasn't connected with the mysterious existence known as the Fool. It was better to know more than to know nothing. "Of course, you have money, knowledge, influence, needs." Klein casually leaned against the back of his chair. "Sure. Without my permission, you are not to leak this matter." "All right," Katlia answered without hesitation. Klein tapped his left index finger to reveal the rest of the tarot clubs on the bronze table. They use tarot cards as their code name. These are the remaining ones. Pick one. Ah, shit. Who is it going to be? Katlia scanned the cards and immediately said, "The Hermit." I literally read the Hermit and I'm like, it's probably not going to be the Hermit. Yo, dude. Oh, we got the Hermit. No shot. So Katlia's Hermit. We got a new tarot club member just like that. Yo, that is so hype. Wait, how many members do we have now? We're going to have 20. Dude, how are we going to like, how is Cuttlefish going to juggle 22 tarot club members? That is crazy. It's coming. It's coming. What's coming? I would rather have a Rhodes Order than the Hidden Sage. Shit, man. This is so wild. Trust in Cuttlefish? I trust in him. No, I'm not doubting him. I'm just curious how he's gonna do it, man. Admirals of Star, Katlia the Hermit. That is such a badass name. Admirals of Star, Katlia the Hermit. Damn, that is sick. That is sick. You know what's funny? I remember making fun of the Hermit. I'm gonna take that back. I'm walking that back. Remember like a while ago, or like, guess what the next tarot card member is gonna be? And I was like, it's definitely not gonna be the Hermit. It sounds weak. But then you guys like, and then I was like, it reminds me of, and then I was like, it reminds me of the old man from Kung Fu Panda. But then you guys like, don't sleep on the Hermit. Like, the old man was the strongest dude in that verse. And I was like, wait, you're right. I'm gonna walk that back. The Hermit can be a strong sage. Olger, Audrey, Derek, Force, Emlyn, Katlia. 6 members so far. The fuck did I read? 5? Olger, Audrey, Derek, Force, Emlyn, and Katlia. That's 6. How many chapters? I think we can keep reading a little bit more. 6 members. Hold up. Math and 6. 12, 18, 24. We're like about 25%. We're about... This is only 25% of what it's... Roughly. I know it's 20, 24. I know it's 22, not 24. That is so wild. There's gonna, oh my god, man, these conversations are gonna be so intricate, like down the road. Once we start recruiting like high sequence beyonders and like mid, oh man, I'm actually head out. No, it's okay, man. You still have so much to discover. Bet, sign me up, dude. Sign me the fuck up, man. Hold up, I think we can keep reading. Ciao, remember? Yeah, ciao. We'll have the video up right away, but I think we can keep reading a little bit more. I think we're still good on time. An hour. 43 minutes. 1 second. 16 more to go. 16 more to go, brothers. 16 fucking more to go. We have to read 35 chapters before Anime Wiz, you know? We gotta read 35 more chapters before him. Alright, chapter 565. Alright, let's update this sucker. 565. Beautiful. This is good. This is ready. Hold up. Let me just step out. Give me 1 minute. Quick break. Just gonna step out, use the bathroom, and I shall be back. 1 sec, guys. Bear with me. 1 second. You want to say hello to everybody? They miss you. They've been asking about you. They haven't seen you in a cool minute. How you doing? Yeah, they've been asking about you. They're like, how's Ellie doing? How is she? You know, like, they're like, you don't come on stream anymore. Oh, I gotta give you a bath. Ooh, have you been eating outside? Are you eating grass? Here, sit right here. Just chill, relax, have fun. Hang out with me. Remember how back then when you were a puppy, you'd always take naps right here on my lap when I'm streaming? You don't do that anymore. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart that you don't want to hang out with your old dad when he's streaming. Why you gotta be like that? What, did you like outgrow your old pops? Is that what it is? You outgrew me? You don't like hanging out with me anymore? Because what? You're moving away from me. Wait, hold up. Let me just hold her for like another minute. I miss my dog. I don't talk to her or hang out with her that much when I'm streaming now. Like we did back in the day. Hi. Hi. Teenage crisis. They don't listen to their parents. That's what's going on right now. Ellie's going through her rebellious phase. She is definitely in her rebellious phase. It's pissing me off, Ellie. You gotta come back with me. I miss you. I don't want no rebellious phase. What? Not what? You're too lazy to respond? You're not even gonna give me like a little kiss on the cheek? Nah, there you go. She loves me. Like, yeah, you love me, right? You love me. I love you too, Ellie. You're so beautiful. Oh, look at her. Yeah, that's a good girl. All right, I'm gonna keep reading. Okay, you wanna hang out with me? Let me see if I can kind of hold her like this and read another chapter. Well, hold up, give me a sec, cause I miss my dog, man. I miss my beautiful puppy. All right, let me see if I can put on my headphone. Don't like that, Ellie. Are you gonna let me hold you? Can I hold you while we read a chapter? Make her drink the spectator potion. I'll be like, drink the potion, Ellie. You guys know that one meme of like the puppet that's like feeding the other puppet water, like, okay, drink some water, and then like the other puppet's just drowning. That'd be me giving the spectator potion. Okay, Ellie, drink the water, drink the potion. All right, let's read this next chapter with Ellie. Yay, Ellie, thank you for hanging out with me. All right, next chapter is called Eye of Mystery Prying. All right, here we go. Inside the captain's cabin, could Leah slow... hold on, I didn't have a timestamp, do we? Yes, I do. Inside the captain's cabin, Leah slowly got up from the floor and walked into the full-length mirror next to the bookcase. In the mirror, the skin of her face was fair and smooth without a single crack. Her ears were small and normal, showing no signs of expanding. Her deep purple eyes were calm as if nothing had happened. However, she could see more with her eyes that carried a sense of mystery. Hidden beneath her skin were eye-like flesh and blood that hadn't fully dissolved. Her soul body, whose pain and madness were rapidly dispersing. Innumerable illusory objects with ineffable forms that roamed about... Hold up, I almost can't read this. That roamed about sailors who were clearing the deck several rooms away. Everything within a range of a few dozen meters was revealed to her in an unobscure but unusually chaotic manner. From the day she had become a Sequence 5 wait, hold up, new pathway. From the day she had become a Sequence 5 of the Constellation's Master, her mystery prior powers had been greatly... So she is past Sequence 5. So she's about to hit Sequence 4. So she's literally at the same pace as Klein right now. Oh, wait, hold up. She's one sequence above Klein. Okay. Had been greatly enhanced. She could faintly see that there were thick curtains around her that resembled shadows, and behind curtains something seemed to be watching her. Is this the hidden sage? Something seemed to be watching her and all living beings. There are no traces being influenced by Mr. Full, with which in turn explains many things. Wait, what? He said he, no, and then he again, was able to directly pull my soul body into the mysterious space with a strange, tyrannical and secretive power. It's not something that a demigod scepter can compare to. Although he was dressed in contemporary clothing, that doesn't mean anything. For an existence at the level, it's dressed very easy for different people to see him in different forms. That's literally what Olger said. and his true appearance would probably cause every person that sees him to directly lose control and die. Ketlia, oh, is that how people are rash? Music too loud? Yeah, I felt too loud. Wait, so is him dressed like that the reason why people rationalize themselves not losing control? Because I know, like, if you directly look at God, you die. Is that how they're justifying it? Like, oh, because he's wearing normal clothing and looks human, we're not gonna lose control. Okay, all right. And let me find my place. Somebody seems watching her. Hold up. His true appearance would probably cause every person that sees him to directly lose control and die. Ketlia stared at herself in the mirror, thinking silently about what had just happened. All right. Why are you looking over there, Ellie? There's nothing over there. She has the same level of the Decon that gives Klein the clown potion. Crescent Sesamir? She's the same ranking as Crescent Sesamir? I thought Sesamir was sequence 6. Oh, okay. Hold up. Ellie. Hey. So I actually don't know how to become a member. I don't know if that's something that's on the homepage. So both for sequence 5? Hey. Why you gotta be so mean? You don't want to hang out with me? You don't want to hang out with me? You want to go out? You're gonna leave me alone. I'm gonna be sad. I'm gonna be sad. And when I'm streaming here without you, you're gonna get mad at me that you're not hanging out with me. So like you gotta meet me in the middle. Look at that. Look at your beautiful fur. You gotta meet me in the middle. Okay? You gotta hang out with me like I hang out with you. Okay? Cheers. Cheers, dude. Thank you, man. Hey, can you hang out with me? Pretty please. Please. Why are you twitching? Are you scared? Don't know. Oh, your eye. Hold up. Let me clear your eye. Hold up. Before we leave, guys. Well, not before we leave. Before we continue reading. She has her hair in her eye. Hold up. Stop. Hey. Hold up, guys. Sorry. Oh, I gotta trim her hair right there, huh? Ellie is looking at the hidden stage. Look, she's like. She's like this behind us. So this is what I'm picturing the hidden stage does. Is like, say we're talking, just you and me, and then Ellie's the hidden stage. The two eyes are just behind us, looming, lurking, observing, trying to feed us knowledge. Ooh, yeah, I can see it. Alright, I'm gonna put you down, okay? If you wanna go do doggy things, you can go. Ain't no way you came for her toy. Alright. She is looking into the soul of the chat. She's looking at all of you guys right now. No, I was gonna joke. I'm like, she's looking at every one of you to hit that membership button. Are you gonna go out or are you gonna stay? Because we're still streaming. Alright, you can stay. Alright, no, it's cool. You can stay. You play on the bed, but you're gonna stay there. Ellie's spectating. She's spectating all of us. You're gonna stay there, okay? Alright, yeah, she's chilling. You can't see her, but she's like a little bit off the... Oh, you can see her ear pop in and out. She's fucking biting my socks and her toys. Oh, look, you can see the orange ball right there. Yeah, look, you can see it right there. It's popping out right there. All right, let's keep reading. It was inevitable that she had some predictions about Mr. Fool's identity, but this was also the guesswork without any evidence. The fact that he is wearing a tailcoat and doesn't mean that he is very young or that he was born recently. Perhaps his essence is ancient, even older than the 7 gods. I'm sorry. Is this Olger or is this Caitlyn? This is so funny. The knowledge that is pursuing me tells me that before the cataclysm, there were indeed older gods, and he might be one of them. Ketlia said, oh wow, yeah, that's definitely loud. Ketlia said silently to herself before turning away from the full-length mirror and walking back to the palace where she had struggled in pain. She picked up the glasses that had fallen to the side. Music is a little loud. Yeah, no, I can see it on my end. I'm already lowering it. So let me do this. I'll turn off for me. The glazing, definitely. The glazing continues, man. Now the glazing is going to continue even more of the next Terror Club. Let me let Ellie out. You want to go out? Oh, I know. I'll let you out. Oh, you want to play? Ellie, if you want to play, look what you're doing. Look, this is what she's doing. Hey, don't bite me. Why are you biting me? Look, this is what she likes to do. She likes to roll over. Hey, I'm streaming. We're over here. Come on. Okay, then you gotta hang out there. You gotta hang out. No. Don't hit me like, you're like 50-50 right now. Like you want to play on the bed, but then you don't want to play on the chair, but then as you want to go wow, but then you scratch the door. Come on, Ellie. Make up your mind. You're being very rebellious right now. We can't see? I think we're good. If she barks, I'm gonna let her out. So we have to read till the next tarot gathering. I know we need to read. We might have to pause at the gathering and then resume that tomorrow. Just quick disclaimer: if Ellie barks, I will spontaneously let her out mid chapter. But I think we're good. Don't tell me wait, hold on. Don't tell me Ellie cam when. We should get an Ellie cam. We should just get a cam right here pointed at the floor, just so we can see her. I think that'd be funny. But like, she doesn't even want to stay anymore. She just wants to go out. Let me find my place. Okay, never mind. Before we even start reading, she wants to go out. All right, Ellie, you gotta go out. I know I'm muted. I know I'm muted. All right, 3 barks max. Yeah, 3 barks and she's out. Nah, it's all right. We'll just let her out. She wanted to go out. All right, let's continue reading. We're good. We're ready. We are locked and loaded. The knowledge that the knowledge that is pursuing me tells me that before the cataclysm, there is indeed older gods, and he might be one of them. He's before the cataclysm. Ketlia said silently to herself before turning away from the full-length mirror and walking back to the place where she had struggled in pain. She picked up her glasses that had fallen to the side. She put the thick glasses on her nose, hiding her deep purple eyes. Everything that didn't appear used a normal person's vision to quickly disappear from her sight. Ketlia stood there thinking again and again about the influence Mr. Fool and the so-called Tarot Club would have on her. Unknowingly, a tall figure surfaced in her mind. The words that she would never forget once again echoed in her ears. Leave, your destiny doesn't lie with me. Is my destiny your majesty? She closed her eyes. Okay. We're getting lore. In the ancient and majestic palace above the gray fog, Klein's fingers tapped the edge of the long table model table. I read that wrong. Klein's fingers tapped the edge of the long model table, and as he made all the tarot cards on the table disappear, he was thinking about what the subsequent development would be after the Admiral Stars joined the Tarot Club. If there's no way, if I might really need to take a detour from a safe sea route and enter the sea that was once a battlefield of the gods to search for the sinking mermaids, having the hermit who is fearful of the fool in my control is better than cooperating with Vice Admiral Iceberg Edwina. Using her ship would be much safer. Yes, Mr. Hangman will be a backup choice. Admiral Stars is a Moses Ascent Order member. She grasps plenty of knowledge and is very helpful towards the Tarot Club, but it's a latent risk for me? Why would it be a risk? Mr. Fool's image is built on the foundation of being unfathomable. In the future, I have to be more careful. I mustn't answer things I'm not sure of. On matters I'm unconfident about, I'd rather be vague and handle matters like a charlatan. Of course, to fully resolve this problem, I should quickly improve myself and become a high sequence beyonder. My strength needs to match my level, and my standards need to match the pedestal. With such a Sequence 5 powerhouse with many subordinates under her, the overall strength of the Tarot Club isn't considered low. After taming the Sea God Scepter, I don't have to worry about the members of the Tarot Club will be too strong, with problems easily arising. I hope that there would come a day when this member of the Moses Ascent Order, Animal Stars, will be able to play an important role in my revenge against the Hidden Sage. Yes! Yes, dude! Like, we use her as a honeypot. We lure the Hidden Sage, and then King Klein and everybody jumps him. Klein exhaled as he vanished from above the Great Fog, backland beneath the St. Samuel Cathedral. Ooh, okay, what were the red gloves? A red-gloved Nighthawk entered the temporary office assigned to them with a telegraph in hand. Captain, something happened in Animate Harbor. He said to Sol Azure Soist with some excitement. Soist touched the right side of his hair and asked what happened. There's a new development from the Fool. The one... How did they know that? There's a new development from the Fool. The one the Aurora Order is seeking. The member holding the telegraph handed a piece of paper. He answered immediately and attracted the attention of the several red gloves who were present, including the man with the black hair and the green eyes who was taking an afternoon nap. With his chair lifted up and... I'm sorry, is that Leonard? He had black hair, right? Black hair, very nice. And he was taking an afternoon nap with his chair lifted up and his feet on the table. He had covered his face with his hat. So I took off the telegraph and scanned it before immediately laughing. Someone lied it by claiming to be his blessed and attempt to scam other people. But after chanting his name, he was smite to death on the spot by a bolt of lightning. There really is a hidden existence known as the Fool. The files relating to the tarot ritual and the Fool had been handed over to Soy's Red Gloves team. They were in charge of investigations, but there were known leads, and they didn't put much emphasis on it because they had other missions on hand. That's pretty funny. The Fool has powers in the lightning domain. Leonard Mitchell removed the black hat from his face. Who knows if he's the embodiment of some old friend of ours. Unironically, he nailed it. It's possible to do something similar by preparing a corresponding mystical item. It's not without precedent. This is especially so for the fake gods in the southern continent and the colonial islands. Holy Lord of Storms. Those cheats claim that the Fool is another manifestation of Lord of Storms. This might also be why he was smite to death. Soyce leisurely threw the telegraph aside. Leonard glanced at it, lowering his feet, half turned, and chuckled. Aren't we going to perform some investigations? Hello, guys. What's up? Thank you for joining, Loki. How are you going to feign ignorance and recite his honorific name? Soy sneered. This has a high probability of catching the Tolo the Fool, but I will basically be bidding farewell to this world. My digestion of the nightmare potion has been going pretty well, and I just got another good team. There are still plenty of sequences up ahead which are waiting for me. How can I enter into ethereal sleep so Look at Leonard being a poet as always. How can I enter into an eternal sleep so soon? Leonard stroked his drooping hair strands and said, we can get a few criminals on death row to give it a try, but he could just as easily not respond, so I shook his head. We can start from the two cases that involve the tarot rituals. I'm more and more convinced that this has something to do with the Fool. Firstly, the Fool is one of the major Arcana tarot cards. Secondly, the organization that is seeking on cracking down on his blessed is the Aurora Order. And the first case that involved the tarot rituals is the Lenavus case. As such, the Aurora Order's attempt to allow the true creator's descent was foiled. Lenavus pulled at his black vest and got up. Soyce thought about it seriously and said the clues from the other cases happen to have been cut off as well. For now, we have nothing else to do. You can try to investigate the two tarot ritual cases. Sure, Leonard smiled again. Yeah, this is so sick, dude. This was exactly what he wanted. What a case that no one cared about being handed to him. He won a certain amount of time to act freely. At 2:50 p.m. for Tarot Club time? At 2:50 p.m., Forrest returned to the cold streets to her residence while trembling. It wasn't that she wanted to go out in the damp, cold weather, but it was that she had to run out of the food at home. As for Shio, she had gone all the way to Prince Harbor to capture a fugitive and collect a bounty. It was unknown when she would be able to return home. She's always instinctively chasing after and capturing fugitives. It can be said that she has been acting in some way. Holding the large brown paper bag in her arms, she habitually fished her keys to open the mailbox and take out the letter bills. She entered the house, put the food away, and took off her thick coat tightly clinging to her body. Forrest began to look through the letters. Suddenly, her eyes lit up. There was a letter from her teacher, Dorian Gray. After she advanced to Trickmaster, the first thing she did was to write about it in her letter and mail it to Dorian Gray, hoping to receive her teacher's praise and subsequent guidance. However, the days had passed without her receiving a reply. For a moment, she wondered if she should visit Prince Harbor out of concern. Forrest quickly opened the envelope and began to read through it. I'm sorry that I have only replied now. I previously left Prince Harbor for some time for a relative's funeral. Your talents leaves me gratified. Perhaps the stories hidden in your heart have helped you in acting. After you digest the Trickmaster potion, I'll provide you with your Sequence 7 astrologer formula and some ingredients as well as a gift. Okay, a new artifact? The crux when it comes to acting as your Trickmaster lies in performing and hoodwinking. Hoodwinking can also be replaced with deceit? With deceit. This has been verified by generations of Beyonders. You can take into consideration other pathways like Swindler and Magician. The meaning behind their names is that in some sense similar. Forrest heaved a sigh of relief, glanced up at the wall clock, and hurried back to her bedroom before locking the door behind her. The weekly Tither gathering was beginning. Yeah, not long after, a crimson star flooded her eyes, drowning everything. Alright, here we go. Here we go. In the ancient and mysterious palace, just as Forrest was about to look at Mr. Fool, she suddenly saw a figure beside her. The seat had always been empty. A new member A lady. The magician force moved her eyeball slightly, pretending not to care as she half turned her body. Another new member, and it's a lady. Miss Justice was about to get up and greet Mr. Fool when she saw an unfamiliar figure. While feeling puzzled and expectant, she discovered a problem. The women were on one side of the table while the men were on the other side. Oh, is it gonna be 50-50? So it's gonna be 11 females and 10 males, or 11 females and 11 males. While feeling puzzled and excitement, she discovered a problem. The women were on the one side of the table while the men were on the other side. This should be divided according to Mr. Fool's intentions. I wonder if there's any symbolic meaning behind it. Yes, the ladies are on the left and the men are on the right. Being neither left or right is what defines a god like Mr. Fool. Ah, yes. Being neither left or right is what defines a god like Mr. Fool. Ah, yes, there's also Mr. Wild Hand. Could it be that he's neither man or woman or even human? Ooh, she's thinking out of the box. Audrey, they're thinking too much. Justice stood up and bowed, speaking with a light and brisk tone. Good afternoon, Mr. Fool. If only they knew, dude. Ooh, that was a good chapter. All right, that's a good setup. Wait, hold up. Roughly how many chapters? Like two chapters. Like roughly how many chapters is the Terror Club? How many chapters? Shit, because we might end it here. An hour, 56 minutes, 28 seconds. We've read 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We read like 8 chapters. That's not bad. 8 chapters in 2.5 hours? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Terror Club is the best in this volume. Yeah. Okay, wait, maybe we can save it. This is a long... Okay, if it's a long one, we'll probably save it then for tomorrow. Yeah. We can probably save it for tomorrow. This is a long one. All right. Hey, I have a question. I'm probably not gonna read SSS, but what I'm thinking of doing is maybe reading the 7 or so what if chapters of ReZero. Right? It's only like 7 chapters, and I've been wanting to, because I've been wanting to watch season 3, and if I read that, then maybe I can watch season 3 on stream with that filter. What if? No, man, we need to beat Wiz. No, that's right. No, this is like after. No, it's right. We're not gonna do it right now. This is probably gonna be after. No, man. Hey, I like the encouragement. Like, no, we gotta beat him first. We gotta hit 600. Yeah. Now this is like after. I read the translation version. Yeah, don't fall behind Wiz. You're talking about different routes. No, yeah, I know. I want to read the what if chapters. I know there's different routes. Yeah, like that's why I want to read them. And because it's, I know there's a route depending on your sin, like the 7 archbishops and whatnot. Like I know there's a what if chapter on like greed, gluttony, envy, lust, and tomorrow. Tomorrow's gonna be a long stream then. Okay, so we'll save all that for tomorrow. This is something I only want to do because it's only like 7 what if chapters. A wise man doesn't place all his eggs in one basket. Yeah, it kind of, I guess that's why. And then look, I've also finally set up a anime react scene. Let me show you right now. We're gonna like play the top anime openings. Let me show you. So this is what is gonna look like. This is what I'm thinking of doing. So like when we're watching anime together, you know, like when we're all here, I can do this. I click on my anime tab, and now we're like watching anime together, but there's no audio. It may help grow the channel. Seeing you react to anime will be great. Because look, here's the thing, man. I used to watch so much anime, man. Like when I finally discovered what anime was, like after, like I've always watched Naruto and all that back in the day, but when I finally figured out what anime was, bro. And one season, I watched every single airing anime, and I still had like 10 or 15 in my background. You can put a sound filter on top. It will definitely grow the... You can put a sound filter on top. Really? Wait, what does that mean? A sound filter on top. Watching L2M second one when it drops. Same. Now that I read novels, I've started to watch anime less. Yeah, and I've been watching anime less. And I've always watched anime. We can add a audio filter. Okay, I'll look into that. But I think this could work. Now, what I want to do, I'd like to have the, like, distorting the audio. Oh, okay. Well, the thing is, I'd rather play Safe and Sorry and not play any audio for the anime whatsoever. Because I know Japan, bro, they are strict when it comes to that. I'm making the sound like different AKA filters so you don't get... No, like, I'm thinking of just not even playing music in general. Like, we watch the anime, and it'd be, like, up to others to play it on their own end. At least that's what I've seen. I'll look at Roger's Base One Piece reactions, because I know he still does the anime reaction. Those been okay. So I'm thinking this could work. Oh no, I'll see. But I think this could work. You dub the captions for us. You dub the caption for us. Well, I feel like I turn on captions, right? Oh, okay. I'll see then. Damn, that was such a fucking good opening. Damn, that was such a banger ass fucking opening of Naruto. Fuck, man. I'm getting a little emotional. There are some animes that are not strict, while some will strike even when mute. Shit, man. You see, that's why I also don't want to risk it. Like making the sound. Okay. Alright. Well, I guess I'll just look at what other anime reacts. Just here to show some love. I'm watching from chapter 106, 113. Now we'll speak. I'm on the 4th reread of the first book. Yang, dude, that is so fucking sick, Yang. Dude, thank you so much. Yeah, our pace did slow down for a while. Like, after, I mean, dude, fuck, man. That volume 1 ending, Yang, was so good. Oh, my God. Clown was such a good volume. Clown was a good volume. I really like Fate. The more I think about Faceless, the more I like it. It was really good. I'm really liking Traveler right now. It's so fucking sick. But I think this is something I might do, like when I'm uploading a video. Like when I'm uploading the video and I'm not streaming, like I can just like chill back, relax, watch anime with the homies. You guys won't be able to hear the anime, right? Because of copyright. Oh my god, my stomach's growling. I'm getting hungry. But like at least that way we can do a react, maybe. Oh, that Jujutsu Kaisen opening was pretty badass. But I think we'll just leave it there. Well, you know, this is gonna be a good test of water. We'll see if this gets picked up or not. But I'm thinking it's fine. We're just playing openings, so, and there is no audio, so I think it's safe. But I think we're gonna leave it there. Yeah, I think we're gonna leave it there. So let's close this. This might work. All right. You guys ready? Oh, you guys ready? We're gonna do our outro. The Void Arc cooked our schedule. Yeah, the Void Arc did cook our schedule, man. I'm telling you, I was when I was preparing for Japan, the 2 week I didn't stream the 2 weeks I was gone, and the week leading up to Japan I didn't stream because I was doing a lot of last minute preparation, and then when I got back from Japan it took me like another week. Well, it was roughly like a month of not streaming, just preparing. And then before that, I remember I got really sick in January for like a week or two. And then in December, I also got really sick for like another week or two. So we lost like 2 months of reading time, man. Like realistically. Like we started in November or whatever it was. November, October. And then like from there, I felt like we lost like 2 months of reading time. Yeah, the Void Arc was pretty long. But we're going to end it there. Yeah, we're going to end it there. We're going to save tomorrow's Tarot Club. Tarot Society gathering. Because it's probably going to be a long one. Sorry. Tarot, we cannot call it Tarot Society until we see the official translations. It will always be Tarot Club in our hearts. Unless the official translations say Tarot Society. But there's only one way to find out. We got to wait. We got to wait for that physical release. We're going to see what's happened. But I'm liking Tarot Club. It's going to be Tarot Club until the day I die. But thank you guys. Thank you for watching. We're going to do overall thoughts now. My time step will set now. There you go. Perfect. Okay, we do have our time step for overall thoughts. We're continuing the Tarot Club tomorrow because this is probably gonna be a long one. You will love the next Tarot Club. I'm excited, dude. I'm excited to see how Alger and Kaslia, like sorry, I said her name wrong. I'm excited to see how now 2 pirates are gonna be glazing the fool. It's gonna be pretty funny. But we're gonna end it there. Peace. Have a beautiful day. Easy. What tarot card are you? I guess you guys are gonna have to tune in next time and find out, huh? Oh, was that a good cliffhanger, Bullseye? Was that a good cliffhanger, guys? I guess you guys are gonna have to wait till tomorrow stream and find out what's my tarot card. All right, we're gonna leave you guys on that beautiful cliffhanger. Sorry, wow, I'm stuttering and so illiterate right now. Whew, my bad. Sorry, I'm gonna go check on the missus. She's still a little sick. So peace. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you guys all tomorrow. Peace. Later. Buys everyone. Take care. Beautiful. Have a beautiful day. Hold up, I'm figuring out how to end stream because now everything's through OBS. So let's see. Let's see if it ends right here awkwardly while we're talking. You will not be able to reconnect